Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Hungary. We are here for our round 5 of Virtual Drift Masters. My name is Jonathan Tiny Warbe, and I'm here with a very special guest. You guys are very familiar with him for the IRL Drift Series, Ian. Ian, how are you doing today, my man?
Hey man, it's good to be back. It's good back seeing some of these Virtual Drift Masters drivers do what they do. Man, it's a pleasure to be here. I'm excited. I'm excited to see Hungary in virtual world before we head to the real world in 2 weeks' time.
Man, Ian, it's an absolute honor to be right here in the booth with you. Well, virtually in the booth. It's cool to actually be side by side with you. From what you're seeing with virtual wise to IRL competition wise, what's something that you're very excited to be a part of? I know you've done this before. Just give us some insight in your mindset coming into this competition.
I think, look, you know, the switch over from virtual to real world is massive. We see it a lot. I mean, look, you only have to take one person from that, and that's Reeves to see what he done on the first ever Virtual Drift Masters, to then go and see him drive Peter's S15 in Poland was incredible. But even now more, I see it every single weekend, every single event, when you see likes of Connor Falvey. He'd never driven Riga before. He did 300 laps of that track before he'd even got there. Went there, put a 93 on the board, and then made his first grade A. It just goes to show you that the virtual world really backs up the real world when it really needs to.
Yeah, and these guys are definitely using this as a tool, and we're going to be seeing the schedule right now. The round 1 we already did all the way. We're at round 5, and then we're going to be doing a virtual round at Warsaw, which is going to be sick, and that's going to be in September. And man, that's gonna give me chills. That's the biggest event I've ever seen in drifting wise, and doing it virtually and then just seeing it in real world. I'd like to see the balance from the virtual and real world. And this is our prize pool, Ian. First place gets 1,500 euros, second place gets 1,000 euros, third place gets 500, and that's for the whole 6 rounds to the leaderboard. And then you got the first, second, and third place of the season. It's going to be insane, especially with the grand prize going to Poland to Trip for 2, VIP tickets, drift taxi experience. It's crazy. And this is our season standings. From you know, some of these real world drivers and some of these virtual drivers probably went a little bit under the radar if you haven't been keeping up with the Sim series. But Ernestus Jaku is in the lead. Daniel Andreev is in second place. Zach O'Sullivan is in third place. And these guys are absolute stellar sim drivers. Now, when we do virtual drift masters, and compared to what you see in real world, we do qualifications the 2 days prior, but it's not streamed. And then we just straight top 32. Everybody gets to see the battles and get excited for it. We're going to be seeing the line map. So you see the multiple different zones here. What's something that you're going to be expecting as a commentator in the virtual wise? What are you looking for these guys to compete in?
From previous experiences, watching these guys before, you know they're flawless. It's, you know, they're right on the border, they're right on the line. There is no messing around. I mean, the comparison side to side from real world to virtual there's nothing in it, to be honest with you. As you can see here outside zone 1, this is exact, you know, moment for moment. But every single part of that track is identical to what these guys are going to drive in real world in Hungary. So there's no room for error. Tyre wall there, we've seen it before. You might think it's a virtual world, but you can get it wrong. You can get in them, you can spin. And we listened to the driver's briefing. They were saying, the judges were saying, contact, wheels off track. They are still judging these guys to the millimeter. They have to be perfect.
Yeah, we have the bracket here, our G2A MetaPro bracket. We have a bunch of drivers here. You have some real world drivers, and I was talking to you earlier. There's actually a team. There's 2 teams out here that's been kind of showing up out here. You have the Ernestus Jakubelis, Darius Ostreika, that team 8s right there. They have been stellar competitors here. Now we have the AOM guys as well. They have 4 guys up on the board. We finally see the leader of the team here going to be going against Alexander Element. And what are you looking for?
For me, look, there's so many stacked battles. I'm looking for the real world drivers, like I always do. I like to see the real world drivers, see what they can do against the virtual, because the real world drivers sometimes come up a little short, Jonathan. They just can't hang with the virtual guys who manage to get on the sim for hours and hours and hours. Look, it's going to be exciting. I'm ready for top 32.
And here we go on the commercial break. All right. Yeah, you were saying this stacked battles, and you were talking about the real world drivers out here. Man, Pavo, Korpulinski, and Adam Zeleski has been absolute killers out here. Just straight shredding. I know you've seen them in real world. How are you excited to see them in virtual now?
Yeah, I've been lucky enough to see Korpulinski before in virtual. I know he's a very good virtual driver. I know Zeleski's been stepping up his game. There's a few guys, unfortunately, that haven't been here this weekend to compete, who are doing other competitions in real world. But look, these guys, I think they got their work cut out. The season's heating up. Like you say, this is the post round to the final in the PG Narodov weight. And look, they're ready to go. Top 32 battle on the line. It's going to be Norway versus America. Jonathan, you know these guys like the back of your hand. We'll be through this first battle.
All right, you got Hauge out here and Brandon Gardner in the chase. Brandon Gardner is trying to keep that proximity right off the rip from outer zone 1 to 2, and then 3 is a nice transition for both drivers. Now the proximity of Brandon Gardner just trying to stay in that fight. Here comes that big sweep and turn on that final outer zone. A little bit of a bobble for Brandon Gardner, but that was actually a spectacular performance for his first showing out here.
Yeah, nice battle there, nice proximity, good chase, nice lead as well, right to the edge of the circuit, gets that car a nice angle, stands on the foot brake, puts that car to the back of the wall, goes for that transition back. A little bit of separation there from Gardner. I hoped he would have been a little bit close to the back bumper, now dives in on the inside zone, gives him some room to manoeuvre, and then goes back in for it once again. It's a nice chase, but the lead is where it all came down for me. It was unbelievable, and it gave the chase all the opportunities to get the proximity.
Yeah, with Brandon Gardner here, he's actually rocking the NOS energy drink livery, and that's he's the virtual driver for the Formula Drift driver Chris Forsberg, which he's been putting out some good content in the virtual world and trying to be as competitive as possible here. Here he is in the lead. Let's see if he could do a spectacular job in the lead. Nice initiation going into our first outer zone. A little bit of an e-brake pull going to outer zone 2. Angles up into outer zone 3. Huge momentum. It looks like he came off that outer zone 3 a little bit, going all the way into this fatal funnel over here, going right as smooth as butter, getting as close to proximity. But my goodness, Hauge was out there dooring the living life out of him.
Yeah, that was an incredible chase. It was a good lead, but like you say, come up a short here and there. Nice initiation, gets that car to angle. Hauge didn't really put anything into this one. Kept a little bit of separation, went for the transition back. Now started to dive in, now started to get that proximity as Gardner goes for the wall. You can see Hauge going for the door, looking for that rear wheel. Then bam, snap to angle, pushes right up onto the front wheel and tags the door across the line. Incredible stuff from the chase.
Man, Hauge was out there changing his Spotify playlist to Taylor Swift. It was insane how close he was proximity with him. It's so cool to see these guys just straight shred. I like seeing Brandon Gardner coming out here. I think this is the second or third time he actually got into a top 32 battle this season. But he's been fighting out there, which I love the nitty gritty of drivers and resiliency of them. But Hauge have been doing a crazy performance with that RX-7.
Yeah, he's. I mean, look, this is going to be hard because it's all about having a good lead to a good chase, and I don't know if Hauge done enough there. Gardner's lead was impeccable, to be honest with you. Yeah,
Gardner's lead was great, but there was some. It looks like it was a little bit of more bobbles, and from what I was seeing, the chase from Hauge was very smooth and consistent, and then he just like reeled them in more and more throughout the run compared to Gardner. Did have some bobbles from what I saw. So I don't know how the judges are going to be looking at that. That's why I like being a commentator. I love being a fan first and not a judge. So here we go.
Well, here we go. Decisions
Hauge
in.
to the left. Gardner to the right. And it looks like it's a one more time. Oh, man.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. Yeah, mistakes from both guys. A split decision, Chris saying, giving his point of view across there. But I can see it. I can see it one more time. I can see why, mistakes from both guys. I want to see a clean battle. That's all it comes down to.
Yeah, the great thing about virtual-wise compared to real world, they were set back to pits, and then they're ready to go for the one more time battle. So these guys are out here just straight shredding these tires. These guys put a lot of time and effort before the competition, the sim drivers. So let's see how they come out here. This is our one more time battle. Hauge in the lead, Gardner in the chase.
Yeah, and here we go. Off the line through
coming
the
in.
Sorry, go on, Jonathan. Yeah. I'm jumping across you there.
Oh, sorry.
Oh!
It doesn't matter right now. There's a contact on the wall. I am so surprised by Brandon Gardner making that contact, but he's still back in the fight. RX-7's coming out here being spicy and trying to get that proximity. Now we're going to have them flip to the other side. And Ian, I'll let you take it away here.
Yeah, I mean, look, I thought this was all going to be down to Gardner. Look at the initiation. He was onto the back bumper, but then, look, put the back end in on the foot brake, tagged the wall, and really put himself almost into the wall completely, but put himself back into the fight. But that's going to be an opposite drift or momentum of straightening, so the judges will score that 0 from where I'm sitting. But apart from that, the proximity was incredible.
All right, yeah. What are you expecting on this battle here, this lap? What do you think Brandon Gardner's going to do?
Oh, man, look, Gardner's going to go through. He's going to put in a 100-point qualifying run, and he's just going to try and drive away from Hauge. But Hauge knows he's got one foot in it. He needs to play it safe now. He needs to give him some room, but not, not an incomplete. Going to go for it. Nice initiation from Gardner, and he is going to go for it. He goes wide, big angle. He's not messing around. But look at Hauge. He's keeping it sensible, keeping his distance, keeping that proximity as close as he can, but not too dangerous. As they come round that long outside drag, goes for the outside zone. Gardner right to the edge of the circuit. Hauge now looks for the dive onto the door, onto the wall, across the line. I think he's done enough there. I think he's going to take that one through.
Oh, man, that was insane to see. You see Brandon Gardner coming in here trying to put all the effort out there, looking like he does a big old Scandinavian flag, but Hauge uses that angle to slow himself down to get right into that pocket, giving him some room on this transition section. Tire wall is beautiful, but you see Hauge coming in, reeling him in like a big old fish in a deep sea cruise, going all the way through to that final outer zone, and just straight door-to-door action all day from him.
Yeah, incredible chase. Did what he needed to do, though. Kept his distance and played it safe. Looks like the scores are in.
Yeah. And it looks like, Hauge gets the win, moves on to the top 16. Our next battle, these guys are one of my favorite drivers to watch from when I first started to how they've grown and developed. Ian, it's Ernestus Jaku versus Simon Sandman. All right, and I always have a fun time getting excited with Simon because I'll start like humming Metallica. So we're trying not to get copyright striked on this stream, but hey, you got Ernestus Jaku with the A90, and Simon Sandman is in that S15. So these guys are absolute stellar drivers. One of my favorites to watch in any competition. Simon Sandman and Ernestus Jaku. A90 Supra in the lead. And S15 in the chase. Here's Simon Sandman coming in to reel in Jaku. Jaku is in the lead for the season, coming in with a nice initiation, filling out that first outer zone. But here's Simon Sandman keeping that proximity all the way through, all the way into this tire wall. Oh, mercy, as he bobbles a little bit on that proximity, but still stays in that fight, and he's trying to put some fairy dust into Jaku's eyes to put him to sleep. Oh, my goodness.
Wow. Wow, one incredible battle. There was no messing around. Just a few mistakes there from me for the Swedish driver. The Lithuanian out front, Jaku, absolutely flawless. But there was a few mistakes from the Sandman. Look, nice transition. They were absolutely perfect, bumper to bumper. But he gets himself a little caught up there. Has to back out the angle, almost hits the tyre wall, then gets himself back into the fight. But watch the Lithuanian as he fires through to this outside zone. That line is absolutely pinpoint perfect.
And now, let's see if Simon will put out a spectacular lead and go into this battle with Jaku going to Never Neverland. All right, and we have Simon Sandman in that S15. You got the reference. I'm so happy. Here we go. Simon Sandman in that S15 coming out here. Let's see how he does it. Big old flick into that first outer zone. Here's Jaku using that nice left foot brake to keep that proximity. Looks like there was possible contact on that wall from Simon Sandman, but Simon Sandman is fighting through, win the lead. Jaku is unfazed and just streak on the door throughout this power alley all the way to that final outer wall. Oh, mercy, these guys. This is a Final Four battle in top 32.
Yeah, there was no messing around here. But again, Sandman making mistakes, tagged that wall. Look at the initiation, though. Bumper to bumper, no messing around. As the Sandman gets into it, look at that. Tags the wall, though. Has to transition early and puts him way on the way away from the outside zone. You can see Jaku gets himself back into it, up onto the door, looks for the transition. Boom, straight onto the back bumper, straight onto the door. No messing around from the Lithuanian.
Oh, crucial mistake for this battle.
Yeah.
These guys have drifted multiple times with each other. I do see them sometimes in lobbies together, and it's going to be left for Jaku, right for Sandman, and Jaku gets the win and moves on to the top 16. He's going to be battling Hauge on the top 16 battle, and next we have our two drivers coming up. Roncero, he's an Escuco driver. I believe it was Escuco. That's how they pronounce it. Spanish driver. They're out there shredding teammates with a bunch of these other drivers. But here we go. Waiting for these guys out here. Parangauskas versus Roncero. I know you see Jaku and Sideman on the scoreboard, but there it is. Parangauskas versus Roncero. Here we go.
There they go. They
Lights
get the
are
green
green.
light. Yeah, no messing around. Through the chicane he goes now. 180SX down through the gears. And look at this. Roncero looking for the front wheel. Nice initiation. Straight up onto the door from the Spanish driver as he flicks that Supra back across the circuit. But the 180SX holding it down as Parangauskas now puts it to the wall. Puts the back bumper right to the tyre wall. Roncero looks for the back bumper once again. Dangerous, brave transition as they're both buried into the wall, wheel to wheel.
Wow. Adrian Roncero coming out here with that 890 Supra, and here comes my man Parangauskas coming in with a nice initiation, losing that left foot brake to dive his back bumper right to that first outer wall, using that left foot brake as well on outer zone 3, but just using it delicately so he could get his car in the right positions. But Roncero is being super aggressive, but a little bit forward on the pocket in that final outer zone.
Yeah, very aggressive chase there. No messing around. He wanted that one. He was hungry for it. Can he do the same in the lead, though? The Spanish driver, Roncero, now leads them both out for a spot in the top 16. Awaits. They wait for that green light on the start line. Parangauskas now to chase them down. That 180SX. Get the green light through the chicane. He goes now through the gears. Smoking tyres already. No messing around. Big Scandinavian flick right to the edge of the circuit for Roncero as he puts that back bumper of that A90 Supra to the wall. Nice transition back with Parangauskas. The Lithuanian looking for the door as they transition now close to the wall. No messing around. Look at this. They're glued together. There's not an inch between them, but a wobble there from the Lithuanian as they go for the last outside zone onto the wall across the line.
Oh my goodness. These guys are out here just straight shredding. They know it's the second to last round for the season, but you see Roncero coming in with a nice Scandinavian flick going into that first outer zone, filling out the outer zone too. Beautiful smooth motion all the way through each zone. Silk as butter, but here he is, Parangauskas, just putting that tire to the door and not leaving any room on that transition and getting super aggressive. This is going to be a tit for tat kind of judging over here, and man, I don't know. It could go either way.
Yeah, it's going to be a tight one for the judges. And again, another one I think it could go one more time. Here we go. Decision drops in. Who's it going to be? Lithuanian or the Spanish driver to go through? Oh, and there we go. Parangauskas gets the win and advances through to the top 16. The Lithuanian takes out the Spanish driver.
That is an insane concept over here. You got these guys that they represent multiple different teams. The IRT team is also Andreev's team as well, and they all work together on these tracks. They come out probably the week of the competition, so they're putting so many hours into this game. Some of these guys have 1,500 hours on the sim itself. It's insane. But now we have Braden Swan in the lead and Choisit in the chase. Let's see, the American versus the French. We're going for the lights. Here we go. The AOM member, AOM livery, pink and black. You have the door breakers livery coming in right into that pocket, right off the rip, using that left foot brake. And oh man, huge angle from Braden Swan on that second outer zone going into this tire wall. And it kind of choked up Choisit a little bit, and he goes right back into the pocket after that tire wall. The fatal funnel right there going all the way to that final outer wall. These guys were coming out here just swinging.
Yeah, no messing around. These guys want it. They're hungry for it. That's for sure. They want those VIP tickets to the PG Narodovway and the final Drift Masters. And look at this, the American Swan not messing around. This lead line was clinical. He was like a doctor out there serving it up. The French driver just couldn't hang. A few mistakes. Look at him shallowing up the angle, waiting for that transition. Couldn't really make a dive. Not really had a fight in that one. For me, Swan was absolutely on point.
And let's see how he performs out here in the chase. You got Choisit in the lead and Swan in the chase. Let's see if he'll spread his wings and fly, baby, fly to the top 16. Here we go. Choisit coming out here with that S15. Looks like he got choked up on that chicane. Big Scandinavian flick at that first outer zone. A little bit shallow on it going into that second outer zone. Beautiful transition for both of these drivers. But here's Braden Swan being super aggressive as possible, using that left foot brake to keep that proximity as consistent all the way into the power alley during all day. My goodness.
Yeah, that was incredible. For me, Brandon Swan just looking absolutely on point, no messing around. He looks dialed, he looks in the zone, and he could deal with anything that the Frenchman threw at him. He waited for that transition, very clever driving, now made the dive, looks for the door, dials it in, goes for the back bumper, and keeps it clean. I think he knows that the lead to chase, he had it all over him.
Yeah, man. These guys are just straight, just animals out here. The AOM guys have been practicing all week as well. As soon as they get the track, they've been practicing, and it looks like Braden Swan gets the win and moves on to the top 16. Yes, he's spreading those wings and flying to top 16. Now we have our next battle. I think you like that little pun. Hey, dad jokes all day over here.
Yeah, all day, all day.
Now we have Darius Ostreika. Darius the Don Ostreika. He is another teammate of Jaku. And you have Kubarsepp. We're rocking the BMW.
So there we go, back on the line, ready to rock and roll. They wait for that green light. Ostreika from Lithuania to lead out. Kubarsepp from Estonia, is that? I can't remember the name of that flag. It's been a long season on me. Oh, contact on the transition. As Kubarsepp puts himself into the back bumper of the A90 Supra. Ostreika up and gone, no messing around. And he already knows that this one's his. He needs to keep it safe. He does. He keeps it away from that wall, no messing around.
Yeah, that's a big mistake, especially in this type of bracket, especially going against Darius the Don Ostreika. A huge angle correction on that first initiation point, and then it looks like Ostreika was in mid-transition, and my man over here tried to surge a little bit too early and hit his bumper and lost that proximity. Now he's fighting back to the final outer zone and just being super aggressive. Virtual-wise and sim-wise, there are spotters, and it's crazy to see you actually explaining, hey, they're probably talking to each other saying, hey, you got this in the bag, just make a killer lap.
Yeah, Yeah, exactly that. These guys not messing around. Virtual spotters as well as real life spotters. This sport is getting crazy. With her off the line, Kubarsepp now needs to lay down a clinical lead line. Can he do it? But look at this from Ostreika. No messing around. Early Scandi flick, goes for the front wheel, flicks that car across the circuit. He's going to play it safe. And now he goes for a big dive. Looks for the rear wheel, jumps up onto the side of that BMW E36 as he pushes Kubarsepp right to the edge of the circuit, bumper to bumper. Transition onto the wall as Ostreika pushes him across the line.
Oh my God. This guy out here, just Ostreika, is very consistent driver. He's always able to keep that proximity as clean as possible, especially when he knows the chase driver did a big mistake at the previous lap. He's always consistent. He's going to give him that room, give him that transition, looks at transition a little bit early, but then puts it on his door, rub that tire right to his passenger door. And we're having the judges come up with the decision. Left for Ostreika, right for Kubarsepp. And it looks like Darius the Don, Ostreika gets the win and moves on. And we are going into another battle. Linus Turnquist versus Powell Korpulinski. And you're familiar with one of them, Ian. And,
oh yeah.
And I want to hear you. I want to hear you call this run. I'm going to be a fanboy over here, okay?
Well, Korpulinski was on the podium in Riga just a couple of days ago. Can he get himself back on the podium again? Can he get into the virtual podium? Here we go off the line. Turnquist to lead in Korpulinski as Korpulinski now glues that S15 to the door as they fire through. Nice transition from Turnquist as he goes wide, looks for the wall, almost makes contact. Korpulinski keeps himself out of trouble now as Korpulinski goes for the dive across the circuit. Back onto the front wheel he goes as Korpulinski pushes Turnquist across the line.
That guy got me on the edge of my seat. I thought he was gonna annihilate that tire wall. Take it. These are virtual tire walls. They still hurt with direct drive wheels, but you have Korpulinski coming in, keeping that nice proximity, using that left foot brake to stay a little bit back, giving him that room on that transition. And my goodness, Turnquist was able to hold it together all the way to that tire wall, and Powell is just keeping that proximity as smooth as butter throughout that whole battle.
Yeah, that was a masterclass by Pavel Korpulinski there. Turnquist did a good job. I think it was so close to danger there. He flirted with danger on that tyre wall, but he kept it in the game. He kept it together. Can he do it again as he now has to chase down Pavel Korpulinski? They get the green line through the chicane. They go through the gears down onto the start line as Korpulinski fires that S15 across the circuit. Full throttle now. Turnquist looks for the front wheel, looks for the door. Korpulinski dials on big angle, trying to upset that chase driver, but it's not messing up the Swede as he goes for it once again. Korpulinski goes nice and close to the inside zone, washes out wide to the tyre wall. Turnquist on the middle of the circuit, shallows up the angle, almost makes contact across the line.
Every round, I always say, I don't even know if I need to drink Red Bull because they all get my heart racing. These guys are absolutely stellar when they're battling. The consistency with these guys. Pavel Korpulinski has been a class act in the tandem scene in the battles over here, and seeing them perform in virtual and real world is kind of like, man, what's going to be changing? The only thing that changes is G-forces.
Yeah, I mean, he's just a man on a mission this year. He's in the moment. Look at this, judges wanting to see a replay. And obviously not a clear-cut decision here.
Yeah, you see that Linus Turnquist is really close in proximity and holds it together on outer zone 5, going into outer zone 6, and just dives right into the pocket. Maybe this is going to go. I could see this possibly going one more time.
Yeah, I mean, I think the judges are looking for a mistake from the chase.
Well, slide him left for Linus Turnquist. Slide him right for Korpulinski. And it looks like it's a one more time. Oh, man. Well, we're going to see these guys go to the pits and reload their tires and get ready for this. I was looking in the chat and I saw you got fans, Ian.
I'm so bad at computers. I don't even know where the chat's at. That's where the problem.
Well, and let's put it this way: I have the YouTube chat up, and I'm seeing it, and people are very excited to see you being involved with the sim community. It's really cool to see that kind of aspect. But we have our one more time battle of Linus Turnquist versus Pavo Korpulinski. Pao's in the chase, Linus in the lead. BMW coming in here with the wake. Coming in with a nice initiation to the outer zone 1, using that left foot brake to hug that white line. Huge angle. Here comes Pavo, just trying to keep that proximity as tight as possible, all the way into that first tire wall, going into the second tire wall. A little bit of a nice clean line all the way in, a little bit further away from that wall compared to the other drivers from what we've seen. I think Linus was trying to keep a conservative run for this lead lap.
Yeah, I think he was playing it safe there, to be honest with you, Jonathan. I don't think he wanted to go too far. And look at this from Korpulinski. He was just doing enough, not doing too much. And I think Linus just, I think he played it a little bit too safe. I think he could have gone a little bit wide, a little bit more angle. I think needs to be thrown in that one. Korpulinski, I think he took the opportunity. Look at that transition. How he never took them both out, I don't even know. But look at Korpulinski, glued to the door. Man, his mission this weekend.
That is insane. Now we have Pavo Korpulinski in the lead and Linus Turnquist in the chase. Linus out here being as a straight slayer as possible. These guys coming in with a nice initiation. A little bit of a shallower angle, but I think Linus Turnquist is trying to get that proximity and then angle up into that chase pocket. Oh, mercy. That beautiful transition from both of these drivers going into this power alley. Linus Turnquist, a little bit of a bobble on the chase, but then diving right back into the pocket and letting Pavo know he means business.
Yeah, he was definitely showing Pavo Korpulinski there. He was here for business, no messing around. Korpulinski, for me, lovely lead line, beautiful, right to the edge of the circuit. And Linus, look, just dialing off the angle, left foot brake in there from Korpulinski. But look at the line, absolutely beautiful. How they never, again, made contact and crashed on that transition. The contact was so close. And once again, did it again. But Linus, for me, just didn't really leave an exclamation mark on that. Didn't stamp his authority at the end of the run.
Yeah, compared to how Pavo was being super aggressive in the chase right off the rip, and you see Linus Turnquist just being as consistent and aggressive in both of his laps. I feel like there's more of an exclamation point with Pavo, but it's just me being a commentator, seeing what I'm seeing, you know.
Exactly, that's why we do it. We get to say what we want to say, and we only get grilled in the chat. That's it. That's all we get grilled for.
Yeah. But luckily, these guys out here, you'll see in the background, you'll see the guys in the burnout box, and people that see sim driving, they're wondering, why are they in the burnout box? Why are they scrubbing their tires? They're actually doing that to kind of make sure all their equipment is working. So it's kind of like, make sure, hey, my force feedback's good, everything's good to go. Compared to in real world, they're scrubbing the tires for grip. So it's so wild. Is there any other similarities that you see with real world and the sim besides the driving aspect that you see these guys come in here and practice on?
I think for me, it's the muscle memory. I think you see a lot of guys out that say that, you know, getting the hours in on the sim behind the scenes is all about muscle memory. You can almost count your transitions by timing, especially on a sim. You can go to the track and it's exactly the same. So it's you know, it's such a good, cheap, I mean, to a degree, side-by-side comparison for these guys. You know, running a pro car for a day costs £10,000 or 10,000 euros or $10,000. But for these guys, you know, when they've got a sim and it's already set up, it's easier. They just spend some time on the weekend, get on there, do some laps, feel comfortable, and it's muscle memory. It's always in the seat, and that counts for a lot in drifting.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm looking over to the chat, and I just saw a wall of Ians in the chat. They're cheering for you, Ian.
They're cheering for me. Look, I hope to see some of you guys at Drift Masters. If you haven't got your tickets already for Hungary, jump online and grab them. If you haven't got your tickets for Poland for the final at the PG Narodowy, please get your tickets, because it's going to be incredible. Only 25,000 left. Believe me, they're going to sell real quick. Well, there we go. Decisions in. The Swede, Turnquist, gets the win, advances through. Korpulinski out of competition, and he'll be gutted about that one.
Are you going to bring it up on the next round that he lost?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
If
for sure, yeah.
I
I'll
love
remind
the
him of that.
drifting communities. Yeah, definitely. It's great to see it with these drivers when you go to actual events. I one day will go to Drift Masters. I want to go. That's one of the events I always wanted to go to Poland. But I've been to Formula Drift and other kind of competitions like that, and seeing the real world drivers just giggling and laughing about something that happened on virtual. It's so fun to have the camaraderie, man. And now we have Alexander Element versus Dijon Rampage Reeves. And this is the guy that I was telling you about. He is the leader of AOM. This is the first time we've seen him in Drift Masters. I'm excited to see how he performs out here, coming in the chase. Here comes Element coming in with a huge angle with the pit look livery, getting that angle using that left foot brake, then transitioning buttery smooth. Rampage is using that 180SX as feisty as possible to keep that close proximity to outer zone 5, going to outer zone 6 in this long sweeping turn. Doors, baby.
That was incredible. Incredible lead from Element. He was just on form. Look at this. His GT86 gets the tyre smoking. Absolutely fires that car in. You can see him lock up the foot brake as he goes into that wall, and then bam, straight off of it, straight back onto the throttle. Nice transition left to right. Looks for the tyre wall, full throttle zone as he absolutely drags them both through that little corridor, that little alley towards the finish line. But the American didn't really have enough in it for me. I wanted him to see closer on the back bumper, onto the front wheel. Let's see how it goes when they spin him around. Reeves to lead out Element. A spot in the top 16 awaits.
Right, we have Reeves in the lead, Element in the chase, and the lights are green. Let's see the lead run from Dijon. Rampage Reeves coming in with a nice initiation, going to that first outer zone, using that e-brake to fill out the first outer zone. All huge angle to outer zone 2. Transition is buttery smooth, keeping it on the track, going to that tire wall. Oh my goodness, scraping that back bumper on that outer zone 5, going into 6, and being as spicy as sriracha. Sriracha's spicy for me.
Yeah, that was incredible lead, and I didn't think he was going to throw it down, Reeves, but he kept it into it. Look at that from Element, fires that GT86 backwards into the outside zone, goes for the transition, but it gives him some room to maneuver. Thought he was going to be closer there, but now starts to dial it in, now starts to look for the back bumper, now looks for the transition back. He goes for the dive and stamps a little bit into it, but for me, I would have expected a little bit more proximity throughout the run.
It's crazy to see this kind of performance from these guys drivers, and it seems like they're trying to ramp it up more and more in like the championship quality throughout the competition. They're going to keep dialing their aggression throughout each lap and each battle. So we got some of these guys out here, the Bitlook guys, as well as some of the AOM guys. They have been not only on the sim, they actually partake in real world events. You have Dijon Reeves. He's actually a spotter for a pro spec driver and for a pro-am driver, and he's always trying to fine-tune his craft compared to like some other guys that do it for fun. I love it when people do it for fun because it makes drifting fun all the time.
Exactly.
You got this Bitlook livery. Oh, I like that white, blue, and gold.
Yeah, that looks cool. That GT86 is cool. For me, I'm a big 180SX guy, so my heart goes out to Reeves straight away because I love 180s.
Yeah, and that black and gold livery. We have a wide variety of liveries. My favorite livery in Drift Masters. Well, actually, let's ask you, what's your favorite livery? People have heard my favorite livery
in Drift Masters. I don't know, you know. Connor Falvey or Torani Kavia.
Okay, I respect that.
I love Tor's car. It's out there. He rocks the pink, and he just looks gangster. And for me, you got Connor Falvey's car that's just got the real Japan Drift Games livery. It just looks so cool.
All right, and it looks like Dijon Reeves gets the win. It looks like there was possible a one more time thought process for one of our judges, but we're moving on to the right side of our bracket after this battle. Now this battle is pretty cool. You got Nico Stella. Nico Stella is another Escuco driver. It's actually his birthday today. He's doing this for fun for his birthday. He is 12 years old, Ian.
12 years old.
And competing at this level. And then you have Sam Kuti, who's just in that orange S15. If you haven't seen Ian, Nico, he's a straight shredder. Love seeing him drive. Let's see your thoughts on this run.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. I've heard this name before, Nico Stella, and I'm excited to see him on track. Here we go, Kuti firing that S15 down. Big angle to initiation from Stella as he fires it into the wall. Left kid gets that car right to the side of the track and now looks for the transition back as Kuti, though, puts it to him, sticks it to the door as Stella goes for the transition back for that long final outside zone, but there's no shaking Kuti across the line.
Wow, Nico coming out here just being a straight slayer, just angling up all the way through and holding that angle. I love seeing drivers that could hold that angle right off the rip on the initiation. He's doing that right there, little to no corrections in the lead. But here is Sam Kuti trying to keep that proximity all the way through and then just possibly using too much momentum, and it kind of choked him up, but he was able to hold it together to the outer zone, the final outer zone.
Yeah, I think he caught himself a little bit there, carried a lot of momentum, fired it into the door, and I think he scared himself, had to back out of it ever so slightly. But for me, Stella was just on an absolute flyer. He now has to sit in that chase position. He keeps back off the start line through the chicane. They go, Kuti to fire in to lead them down. And look at this big flick to angle as he fires that car right to the edge of the circuit. Nico Stella, though, right on the rear wheel, onto the bumper. He goes on the transition now, makes a dive through the smoke, looks for the front wheel as Kuti puts that car to the right to the edge of the circuit, looks for the tyre wall. Nico Stella shallows up the angle. Oh, brave transition as Nico Stella goes for that front wheel across the line.
He's a straight animal. You got Nico coming in here. Oh, man, coming really spicy on the initiation, not leaving any room on that bumper, and then all of a sudden coming in and filling out each zone with the lead driver. Beautiful. And then surges as close as possible on that first tire wall, gives him some room. It looks like he was a little bit too early on that transition to that final outer zone, but still a spectacular performance in the chase.
Oh, yeah, that was incredible. How he kept the angle, how he gained that proximity and stayed on it was just insane.
You got the socials for Drift Masters. Follow the socials for Drift Masters on Facebook, YouTube. Well, you guys that are in YouTube, you've already been in the right place. You got VDM.GP where you could get these cars and the track, and you get them at the same time that the actual competitors get the tracks as well. So usually the week prior to the virtual series, we release the track that these guys are actually battling on. Now, Nico, I know he's too young for it, but Ian, you ever heard or watched the movie Streetcar Named Desire?
Yeah.
Yeah, Nico, every time I do that Stella, like yellow Stella joke, like Marlon Brando, not that many people get it. So it kind of makes me feel old, man.
We're getting old out here now. We're getting old in the game.
Yeah, you got 12-year-olds and 12 and 13-year-olds just straight shredding on the sim, and then you have them competing in the real world. It's absolutely bonkers.
Crazy, yeah.
All right, left for Stella, right for Kuti. And it looks like a one more time. Oh, my goodness. Here we go. We're going to have them come out here and get ready for the next battle. What were your thoughts about that one more time? What do you think happened from your experience, from what you saw?
I think the only thing that Stella had in the chase, which kind of robbed him of the win, was a little shallow angle and some mistakes on the transition. Looks like he transitioned a little too early, shallowed up the angle, and I think the judges would have penalised him for that. And for me, it would have been the lack of proximity in the chase from Kuti. I mean, look, we're splitting hairs here because these guys are absolutely incredible. They are door on door. I'm excited to see them go again, and they're on the line ready to rock and roll. Nico Stella to lead out Kuti right now for a spot in the top 16. Awaits. Oh, it's the chicane.
Hey, there's a cone there, Stella. Yeah, these hurt. Just like in real world, you could just run them over. Yeah, you can't run these over. If you have a direct drive wheel, and they'll smack you. And I wish I had a mommy to give me kisses on my boo boos whenever that happens.
Here we go. They get the green light, ready to rock and roll. A restart here for Nico Stella. Through the chicane, clear this time. No messing around. Look at that bumper-to-bumper transition. A nice initiation from Nico Stella as he goes for that first wall ride. Left foot brake dabbed as he now fires it across the circuit. Goes through the smoke. That's cut. He needs that proximity. He needs to make a brave transition, a brave dive as Nico Stella puts that car right to the edge of the circuit. Good transition back once again as Stella goes for the wall. Now Kuti puts the front wheel to the front wheel.
Oh my goodness. You saw Sam Kuti coming in here trying to be as aggressive as possible in the chase. You got Stella just being a straight robot going into that first outer zone, and his whole line throughout the whole lap was beautiful, same as before. And then right there you see Sam Kuti kind of bobble a little bit to trying to surge as much as possible, get some more grip so he could dive into the pocket. But now it's more smooth and consistent toward the end. I think that's going to be a big determining factor for this battle.
Yeah, they're going to be splitting hairs, the judges, and if this what happened in the first half of the battle for these guys before the one more time, the judges are looking for those fine details. Where they go, they're back on the line, ready to go. They get the green light. It's going to be Kuti to lead out Stella now for a spot in the top 16 through the gears. Stella knows he wants this one. He's going to go for it. No messing around. Big angle transition, big flick to angle. And look at this from Stella. Oh, tags the wall, and he transitions early once again. Gets himself into the pocket now. Now looks for the front wheel as Kuti puts the back bumper right to the tyre wall, goes across the circuit as he transitions into the door. Now Stella looks for the front wheel across the line.
Wow. That was insane to see how Stella comes in here. Let's look at this. I think it was in outer zone 2. You see Sam Kuti coming in with a nice initiation. Stella comes in, and I think he just surged a little bit too far forward, got forward bite on it, and made himself transition early so he doesn't go off track, but was able to reel it in while Sam Kuti is just doing a phenomenal job getting that line as perfect as possible. But Nico is just a straight shredder. Nico is out of control. I'm 12, 13 years old. I was playing Halo, drinking Mountain Dew, and just hanging out with the boys. And you got this guy driving IRL too.
It's just crazy, like to see these guys, drifting in virtual drift masters. And like you say, when I was 12 years old, I was riding a BMX around the park trying to pick up girls. That was as much as I knew.
I still don't know how to do that, but hey, well, we're gonna not even delve into that aspect. But these guys, with it going into the sim and real world, you got judges. You do have judges in the sim as well. 3 judges, like it is real world. We actually have. Let's talk a little bit about our judges. We have one of our judges. He's a DCGP judge. You have 2 that are. One is actually actively in Drift Masters, and the other one is experienced in it. But we see left goes to Nico Stella, gets to win, and he goes to the top 16. That's the left side of the bracket. He'll be versing Ijon Reeves. But Ian, talk to me about the. You have a lot more experience with the other judges. You're very friendly. We had a good chat earlier with them.
Yeah, David Kalas, very good guy, good judge, incredible man. He's so clinical. We have 3 judges, the same as what you do here in the Virtual Drift Masters Championship. We have Kevin O'Connell, Vernon Svenefeld, and David Kalas. And David, for me, is the very technical judge. He looks at a lot of stuff to do with the handbrakes, where they're downshifting, and that's something good to have between all 3 judges, because every judge has their point of what they like to see a driver do. And Kevin O'Connell, he's more about the style and more about how the line is achieved, how a driver gets to that line. Vernon Sveneveld is again another guy that's more probably about the style and the angle and the line driving. Don't get me wrong, David is as well, but David is very technical. And if a driver makes a small error, he's all over it. He's not aware of it, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's so cool to actually have that like blend, and now you commentating on the virtual wise, and a lot of these guys they know you, as the one of the voices of the Drift Masters. Is so cool, but I am starting to see more and more. I've been a fan of drifting since 2007, 2008, and the evolution of drifting from playing Forza Motorsport or Need for Speed Most Wanted and drifting around to where it is now with the sim rigs and everything going on. Even having the opportunity to drive with pro drivers is absolutely bonkers. And being able to have you a part of the community and jumping in is a great privilege for everybody. Not only me, but everybody that is watching right now.
No, thanks, man. Yeah, look, it's really good to jump in every now and then. You know, like I say, I would have liked to have done the full season, but because of my work commitments as well as doing Drift Masters full time, I just didn't have the spare time. But it's good to be here. It's good to see the evolution. I jumped into drifting in 2005. I stopped driving pro in 2014, and that was when I became a commentator. And to see the evolution of drifting from 2005 to now, and to see the introduction of sim driving in the real world, you know, and seeing that being used by drivers to progress their skill in real life is just insane. And, you know, meeting all these new guys, seeing all these names pop up, it's just brilliant. And like I say, I've met a lot of people through the virtual world and in real world through drifting. And man, it's every Drift Masters, every time I get asked to be part of something with Drift Masters is an honor, because man, I love this sport.
Yeah, this sport is an absolute, like, it's one of the sports that I enjoy because it's a gladiator battle. It's 1 versus 1, mano a mano. And I've seen from the other motorsports, from my experience, like drag racing to drifting. Let's do that comparison. If someone breaks down or has an issue with their drift car, a lot of hands are on deck to try to get them back on board. If it's drag racing, they're like, you're on your own, buddy. And it's so much bravado in drifting. It's awesome to see.
Yeah, it certainly is. That we see it time and time again, you know, and a lot of drivers would rather beat their competitor on track rather than see them break in the pits. And they'll even lend them parts and team members and tires and fuel, anything, just to get them back out there so they can beat them on track fair and square.
Yeah, for sure. Now we have Steven Tarasov versus Devin Fancher. Devin Fancher is another AOM member rocking that BMW. We already seen one of his teammates go on to the top 16. Let's see if another member comes out. And Tarasov is a slayer as well. So Fancher cannot hold up on this. So here we go. Tarasov in the lead. Devin Fancher in the chase, coming in a little bit wide on that initiation, but then now dialing in, trying to get that pocket, a little bit of a contact rub of that bumper, but Tarasov is unfazed on. Oh my God, that close proximity to that first tire wall was beautiful from Tarasov, but here's Devin Fancher rocking that BMW, American flag on top, letting them know we could do it better. Talking about Olympics.
Yeah, that was insane. Like you say, contact there on that transition, and I think that's going to play into the judges' hands. That one, nice initiation from the Ukrainians. He puts that car right to the edge of the circuit. Look, bam, tags the back bumper. Doesn't upset the lead car too much, but Fancher knows he's made a mistake, then has to try and claw some points back, try and prove to the judges that it was just a momentary rush of blood to the head. Look at this across the line. Boom, gives him a little tag after the finish line. Incredible.
Yeah, it's cool, and you got Devin Fancher out here. He's when you're saying that you meet people from the virtual world to real world, it's crazy to actually meet these guys in real world. They actually recognize me. It was awesome. But we have Devin Fancher out here. I was able to have dinner with him, and now he's out here shredding tires, getting as spicy as possible with the angle to that second outer zone, and then transitioning is so buttery smooth. It looks like Tarasov was possibly losing him in the smoke a little bit, but now Tarasov is trying to keep that proximity and transitioning a little bit too early, maybe, from what I saw on that angle, but we'll see on that drone replay.
Yeah, man, look, the lead there was just flawless, unbelievable. Look at this as he fires it in Fancher right to the edge of the circuit. There's a lot of mistakes creeping in here from the Ukrainian driver as he flicks the car to angle too soon, loses a little bit of ground, stalls up, and then gets up on here on the inside on the pocket, shuts himself out, though, as he goes to the wall. Fancher, he transitions back, and you can see the Ukrainian there has to play and get him stuck into it again. I think this one's all down to Fancher.
Yeah, and Fancher is been a spectacular driver and the virtual drift masters as well, but it looks like Tarasov gets the win. We'll probably get an explanation from the judges shortly. We'll revisit that while this battle is going on.
Yeah, exactly. It just goes to prove you that we see what we see and we call it how we call it, but the judges always see more than what they let on.
Yeah, and we have our next battle is Cameron Mustard in the chase and Bakowski in the lead. Let's see how they perform out here, Ian.
Yeah, there we go. They get the green light ready to go. Mustard to chase down Bakowski as Bakowski goes through the gears and at 180SX flicks it. But look at that from Mustard right onto the back bumper. Goes for the front wheel as they fire it onto angle from Bakowski. He's not messing around. He wants this, the Polish driver, as he puts on big angle now. Goes for the tyre wall, but Mustard right onto that front wheel. Looks for it as he hunts him down through the alley. Bumper to bumper onto the wall. They go across the line.
Man, you have Cameron Mustard out here just being as aggressive as he can be with that AOM livery coming in. Nice proximity. It looked like the lead driver, Bakowski, was bobbled going into the outer zone too, but was able to reel it all together, giving a nice lead run, giving that door to Cameron Mustard. And coming into this final outer zone, Cameron Mustard ends up being spicy mustard and not regular yellow mustard.
Yeah, he was a bit of Dijon there. Should we call him with Dijon mustard? A little bit of extra spice in there. He had to back out of it right across the line, though. He almost made big contact. How's he going to fare now in the lead position as Mustard leads in Bakowski? And Bakowski, the Polish driver, will want this one. He'll be trying to stick it to the door. And Mustard, here we go through the chicane. They get the green light ready to go. Mustard representing UK Scotland flag on the roof as he flicks that car to angle now, goes wide for the wall, and look at this, a little bit of lost ground, a little bit of proximity opens up as Bakowski now needs to get himself back into this one now, shortcuts the circuit a little bit, goes really close to the inside zone now, transitions bumper to bumper, looks for the dive onto the door as Mustard goes across the line. Bakowski, nothing in it.
There we go. We have Cameron Mustard coming out here in the lead. Smoke show right off the rip, but then here comes my man Bakowski trying to reel in that proximity right off the rip. But he's a little bit far back. Then now he's starting to reel him into that first tire wall, and man, Mustard is just keeping a nice line throughout each zone and giving him that opportunity to get that close proximity. But maybe it's a little too shy for it.
Yeah, just didn't really take advantage of that nice lead line. Should have been right up into the pocket. Should have been onto the front wheel. Let's see how the judges see that one as the decision drops in. And there we go. Mustard gets the win, advances through to top 16. I think that one plain and simple, Jonathan. Easy to see how he got that win.
Yeah, now we have Mustard. He is the second member of the AOM. We have one Escuco guy out there. We also have another two. We have Jakubelis out there. We also have another team member from his team that's possibly going to be competing. So we'll have our next battle coming up. Tasiemski versus Kleinberg. Kleinberg in the F22, Tasiemski in the S15. Lukash coming out here a little bit late to the line. Possibly fell asleep a little bit, but we'll see. Coming in here with a nice initiation, coming out here a little bit too deep into that first outer zone. Huge angle. But here comes Kleinberg trying to keep that proximity in outer zone 3. And he's diving right into the pocket, not leaving any room. A little bit of a correction, but still keeping that nice angle going all the way through. A little bit far from that rear bumper towards that final transition, but that final outer zone was beautiful from both drivers.
Yeah, nice battle from both these guys. Tasiemski in that lead position in S15. Nice initiation, real good flick. And looking on that foot brake as he fires that car in. Very nice line into that outside zone. For me, it was a little scrappy, though, a little wobbles and wavers. And you can see him on and off of angle there. And that changed position from Kleinbergs there. Didn't really keep it clean. You've got mid-track here, has to back it back in. Almost backs the back wheel to the back wheel of the S15. Judges won't like that one.
And now we have them switching sides. Kleinberg is going to be in the lead. Tasiemski is going to be in the chase. Lights are green. Here we go. Tasiemski in the S15. Almost side-by-side initiation right off the rip and trying to keep that proximity right off the get-go on that first outer zone to second outer zone, but now he's losing that proximity, trying to reel him back in, and here comes Kleinberg keeping that nice angle, that RTR Racing Team Riga livery going into that final outer zone, scraping that back bumper on that wall.
Yeah, that was nice. That was very clean. Here we go through the chicane, through the gears, down. Nice flick across the circuit for Kleinbergs as he puts that car right where it needs to be. And you can see Tasiemski there a little deeper into the outside zone. Nice transition. Waits for that transition back again before he gains that proximity. Then starts to rein him in. Then starts to reel in the back bumper of that F22 BMW as he flicks it across the track. Goes for the dive onto the rear wheel. Boom! Tags the door.
Waiting for the judge's decision. I did get an explanation for the Tarasov and Fancher on the transition, or actually there was some contact in outer zone 2 with that wall. That first wall is minor compared to Tarasov, but still deducted points. And it was a poor transition from Fancher as well that kind of docked him that points. But they see it. They have different cameras compared to us. We are seeing what you guys are seeing on the stream. So we love seeing this kind of honesty, I would say. It's more honest opinions of what both of them. And then the judges are like, no, this is what happened. This is the fact, you know?
Yeah, we're just drift fans, you know. We're here for the fun. We're here for the excitement. And we just love watching drifting. We don't really care about all that technical stuff. We let the judges deal with that.
Yeah, for sure. Now we're seeing this replay again. I guess they're looking at this lead run from the RTR BMW coming in. Nice transitions from him, but it does look like a loss of proximity is maybe what they're looking at, and seeing how that final transition could have affected the chase driver.
Yeah, I think that's what they're looking at. I think that's what it's going to come down to on this one. And looks like they do have a decision now as it drops in. Who's it going to be for a spot in the top 16?
Left for Tasiemski, right for Kleinbergs. And the suspense is real.
Oh!
And it looks like Tasiemski gets the win, moves on to the top 16. And now we have Wallman versus Petru. So Ethan Petru is another well-known sim driver out here. Actually, really good driver. They call him Pika or Taco. So, man, I'm just excited to see these guys getting this stage that we have now for the Virtual Drift Masters. Wallman is in the lead, and Petru is in the chase.
And here we go. Right. Looks like the light goes green. They're through the chicane. RX-7 versus A90 Supra through. They go. Petru looks for the jaw, looks for the transition as they fire in. Wallman absolutely dialed in. Look at the angle as he flicks that Mazda RX-7 across the circuit. Nice line as he goes for the outside zone, onto the wall, into the smoke. Goes Petru though as he goes for that back bumper transition. Very shallow though, kept it late, and now he finds that front bumper, that front wheel.
Oh no, Petru in that final transition. We'll take a look at that. We got Pikachu drifting on the back livery, and we have our man out here, Wallman, just riding each wall, man, and going into outer zone 2 and 3. Beautiful transitions from him with that RX-7. And here's Petru. This is where the power alley is very crucial. It looks like he possibly got some grip and was able to spin that rear tires to try to get that proximity and that angle.
Yeah, it was a big mistake. Judges will be looking at that one. They won't like that. He went for it a little early. I think he was going to go for a big flick across the circuit, try and get that proximity and go door and door the whole way, but it didn't really play out. Here we go. He now has to lead out Wallman as Petru goes for that big flick, Scandi flick across the circuit, big angle as he carries it. Can he hold on to it? He can. Lots of left foot brake though as he stalls the car up on angle. Now opens the door for Wallman. Wallman now hunts down the side of the A90 Supra as he looks for the front wheel, go wide for the tyre wall as they now transition down full throttle zone. And Wallman's got himself wrong off the edge of the circuit, and it opens the door for Petru to drive away.
Oh no, Wallman made that RX-7 a lawnmower, unfortunately, on that final outer zone. But here we go, Petru, huge angle going into that second outer zone. Beautiful transition, holding it together. It does look like he possibly could have choked up a little bit, but man, he was on a tear through the zone, doing what he needs to do. And then you see Wallman become a John Deere tractor going to outer zone 6.
Yeah, I think he just stalled himself up on the transition and mistimed it and put himself in the wrong part of the circuit. And that's unfortunate because he was on a flyer up until that point.
We got to slide him left for Wallman. Slide him right for Petru. And it goes to Petru. He gets the win. Moves on to the top 16. And next, we have Artem Chulkov versus Tyler Ducky. Duck. I love this guy, man. We get some quacks in the chat, but Tyler Duck.
Some quacks.
Yeah. Tyler Duck has been a great compadre, let's put it that way. Very supportive with the sim community. I remember when he first started out, and he's just been growing and growing. He's been on the top 32 battles pretty consistently through the Drift Masters. I'm excited to see how he performs in the future. You got Artem Chulkov in the lead, and Tyler Duck in the chase. Tyler Duck is with that BMW coming out here from the U.S. Artem Chulkov coming out here with that 180 SX, trying to be as spicy as possible. Big flick going into that first outer zone, holding that angle. And here comes Tyler Duck. A little bit of a bobble in the chase. Maybe it choked him up, that huge angle, but he was able to reel himself back in, getting right into the pocket, being as aggressive as possible, rubbing that back bumper and front bumper, going into that final outer zone. That transition was insane.
Yeah, that was crazy. He risked it all there because he knew he made a massive mistake there, Tyler Duck, on the initiation. Look at the angle, though, from Chulkov as he fired it in. It completely messed up Duck as he had to stall that car up, missed the outside zone, then get himself back into the fight. Finds a proximity here, tags the door, gets himself back into the zone. But for me, Chulkov is absolutely on a flyer. It's clinical, it's clean, it's beautiful.
I just saw in chat, I swear Americans have the weirdest names. Hey, we're unique, okay?
Unique.
We got Tyler Duck now in the lead. Artem Chulkov in the chase. We have Artie just being a straight terror throughout the competition. But here comes, a little bit of a tire drop. Oh, my goodness. Able to hold it in to that second outer zone. Beautiful transition. But that huge initiation from Tyler Duck was a big mistake, but here's Artie just laying down suppressing fire to try to get right back to the door of Tyler Duck.
How he held on to that initiation, I'll never know. Let's take a look back at this on the replay. Big flick, uses all of the circuit, goes wheel right to the edge of the track. I'm not sure how the judges are going to deem that one. It was 2 wheels over that white line. Chulkov did a really good job to deal with it and gets himself back into the fight, and now starts repaying the favour, tagging the door, hunting him down, goes for a bumper-to-bumper transition now as they look for that final outside zone across the line. Chulkov right on the door.
Man, that was at the edge of the seat, but I'm pretty confident I know where this is going to go. Left for Chulkov, right for Tyler Duck. And it goes to Artem Chulkov, gets the win, and moves on to the top 16. Tyler Duck, great performance on there. I don't know how you held that initiation, man. Next, you know one of these names, Adam Zeleski, and then Krzysztof Rabina. Krzysztof Rabina is a straight terror out here. Also a Skuko name, livery. But you know Adam. Adam is my favorite livery. of Drift Masters. Everybody knows.
Yeah,
this.
you're a big fan of that. Yeah, Zeleski. Rapina I've seen before. Rapina has competed in virtual Drift Championship before, so we know that name from old. And Adam Zeleski, well, I know this young man very well. Been watching him for a long time. The former Drift Masters champion in that GT86, fires in, nice lead line so far. Rapina though sticks into it. Christoph Rapina looks for the transition, looks for the back bumper, but look at Zeleski, no messing around. Big angle transitions, full throttle as he comes down the hill, flicks the car across the circuit. Zeleski goes for it. Rapina goes for the door though.
Oh my goodness. Man, that was like the last dab of hot ones, how spicy that was. Going to Adam coming in with a nice initiation and filling out each zone as best as possible. But Shishop is just being an absolute terror to that livery, putting some tire marks on that livery towards the end of that lap. But man, Adam, beautiful lead run from Adam. Just a straight animal out here.
Yeah, he's an absolute killer. Look at this run-in that Zeleski wants to get on Rapina as they sit on the start line ready to go. Zeleski not messing around. He's going to use all of the momentum, all of the speed. Let's hope it works for him. It works into his favour. He starts creeping off the line through the gears. They get a clean start now. Rapina leads in Zeleski. Zeleski blows the tyres off. Wow! Oh. Zeleski door-to-door initiation. Haven't seen that one yet so far today as he goes bumper to bumper on the transition. Looks for it once again now as he fires through. Big proximity, big angle from both of these guys. Rapina lead him to the tyre wall as Zeleski goes for the back bumper once again. Zeleski wheel to wheel.
I'm just gonna say that was probably the best battle of the day, right there. That transition, that initiation, door to door, all the way through. Zeleski, a straight samurai, slaying that door every opportunity he can get, all the way through to this power alley. Zeleski, beautiful transition in the chase, being able to slow that momentum down and knowing when to dive. He's a samurai. That's it. He's a samurai.
Yeah, he certainly is. That was deadly what he done there. It was, you know what, he took the risk and it paid off for him, and it worked out so well. Because for me that initiation was killer, and that could have sealed the deal, you know.
Yeah. And going into the liveries, the Escuco liveries, a lot of them, they have their unique kind of look to it, color scheme. But we're going to go with Adam right here. The reason why I like it reminds me of the Drift Monkeys back in the day. And that's why I love the kind of vibe in that feel. But it does justice. It brings the style to him. But that initiation was insane. I usually see it in different tracks. I wasn't expecting to see that here on this track. Oh, man. So we're waiting for the judges. You see on the bottom, the VDM.gp. That's where you could get the track, the cars, and you could be able to jump into the servers and drift with a bunch of people that love doing Drift Masters layouts. Now, Ian, from what you're seeing right now, we have 2 more battles after this. We're going to see what the judges say. What are you thinking for this whole competition right now?
Oh, there we go. Zeleski gets the win and moves through. So it's obviously who am I? What are we making predictions for the final here, or?
Yeah, we could do that. Let's get a little spicy on it.
Oh, I mean, I don't even know yet. I think the top 32 has been stacked. We've still got some battles to go. I like to make my predictions when we get close to Grade 8. Because then, you know, everyone's in the zone. Everyone's kind of got that muscle memory back. They know exactly what they're doing. I'm going to leave my predictions to Grade 8. But all I'm going to say is This is really warming me up ready for Hungary in 2 weeks' time in real life.
Now we have Daniel Andreev in the lead. Abu Hussein is going to be in the chase with that GT86. Daniel Andreev has not been shy from podiums throughout these rounds over here. Beautiful transition from Andreev, being as very consistent as possible in the lead. Abu Hussein is trying to keep that proximity all the way through as much as possible to that final outer zone, but it looks like he was a little timid going against Daniel Andreev.
Yeah, that was a wild battle, to be honest with you. It was a nice initiation as he fires that 180SX in, but there was contact. That's what I was looking for. There was contact on 2 transitions, I think. He pinches himself up a little bit on the inside. Oh, he didn't make contact. It looked like he made contact on the first half of the run, but he was flirting with danger there. Almost knocked himself out of that battle.
Yeah, it did look like there's possibly maybe a little bit of contact, but it didn't seem to upset Andreev. But Andreev has been in public lobbies able to kind of fight through contact, and here he goes. He's going to be in the chase. Let's see if he'll get as aggressive as he normally is. And here's Abu Hussein, beautiful initiation, but it looks like he tried to stabilize himself, and he disappeared. I never knew we were going to see David Blaine out here.
Yeah, he went for a wild initiation, and you can see as soon as he put 2 wheels...
He's still going.
He's still going. He said he's on the wrong side of the wall, though.
Oh, no. So we'll see what the judges deem that, if that's going to be... This is where it comes into unique-wise. You don't see that in real world. So if there's any kind of technical difficulties, the judges will deem, hey, we'll just rerun the last lap, or we'll have them rerun the whole battle. So
yeah,
I'm not too sure. That initiation looked like he was already going to go off track, but we're seeing the replay right now.
Yeah, he was wide. Abu Hussein was already wide. Watch this. Flicks the car. Look at the rear wheels. Oh, he had contact.
Contact.
So there we go. Ooh. I didn't see that on the first half of the run. Andreev hit him, and that's what forced him wide.
Ooh, I don't know. The great thing too is compared to like real world and the sim wise, there's a lot of tools that the judges have, like the pedal tool on Assetto Corsa. Yep. You could determine if they were off throttle or they were holding the throttle more or holding the e-brake. And I wish there was a way for real world experience that it could be as, I want to say, as intuitive with that, like being real close and knowing when they're gonna be off throttle or on throttle, because sometimes with those LED lights, your wiring can mess up, you know.
Yeah, look, I know there's a lot of guys out there now trying to work on systems that work off of purely GS, so they know when the guys are on throttle, when they're accelerating, when they're decelerating. It's just so hit and miss, and you know, to add a tool like that to a championship, it has to be 110%. So, you know what? Look, I think in the near future we're going to have some extra stuff that's going to appear for multiple championships that can be used as a tool for the judges. But I still think that real-world judging, those eyes on the track, all those camera angles and the replays are still going to be exactly the decision maker.
Yeah, it's so cool to, and I also compare the judging kind of like baseball umpires. I've played baseball most of my life, and I've umpired, and having that keen eye to determine where's the strike zone, where's not the strike zone. These judges, they have a really keen eye and stuff that I never seen. I've had the opportunity to talk to some of the judges, and they could determine, yeah, that dude was off throttle just by looking at the car and how it's moving. And I'm like, whoa, that's crazy. It's so quick in that millisecond.
Yeah,
man. And you've been commentating a lot longer than me. You've been around the scene that way, and you just being able to kind of determine that kind of aspect and articulate different motions, and kind of you are able to, let's say on the one of the previous runs, you were able to kind of think, hey, did he make contact on it just by the camera angle? And it's insane to kind of learn that, and that's from experience.
Yeah, I mean, look, I jumped into commentary in 2014 when the first ever broadcast in the UK. So when the first ever broadcast happened in the UK, I was very fortunate to be involved in that. And then from there on out, really, it just became a massive part of my life. And me, Dave, and the Drift Games team, we came to Drift Masters in 2018 and helped evolve the championship from what was almost a national Polish championship into this massive European championship, and the help of Red Bull coming along helped massively. But yeah, watching so much drifting, watching it from a monitor, when we commentate, Drift Masters, we commentate exactly as I'm doing now, straight off the monitor. The camera angles that you see are exactly what me and Dave see when we're commentating live. So you get to see all the little bits, and you learn all the little contacts, and you watch the car wobble, and you determine it. And there we go. Abu Hussein gets the win, advances through to top 16. Yeah, look, you can't be Jonathan hitting guys and pushing him off track. It's just not how it works, man.
Hey, it's he just wanted to let him know he was there, you know, knock on heaven's door a little bit, you know. But yeah, there's got the determination from the judges. Daniel Andreev was too fast on the initiation and sent Abu Hussein mock Jesus off the track. Now we got our final battle. We got Steven Jarboe. He's another man out here, just straight shredding, and Ali has been doing a great job. Final battle of our top 32. Steven Jarboe coming out here with the Camus livery. Oh no, a little too spicy on that initiation, and he goes off track. Matches the John Deere tractor livery right off the track. And that was Ali actually with the Camus livery. You have Steven Jarboe in that 180 SX with the AOM livery. Unfortunate. I don't know. We'll probably see on the replay if there was contact, but I think that was purely he was just trying to be too extra on that initiation.
Yeah, he threw a little bit too much spice at that one. You can see it as soon as he carries angle. Watch this as he comes through the gears. Jarboe did a good job. He stayed away from him. Oh, he did tag the back bumper a little bit though.
Yeah, a little bit of a little boop.
A little boop on the back there.
All right, our second lap of our final battle of the top 32. Steven Jarboe with the AOM livery. We're gonna see what the judges say. They're probably gonna figure out who's gonna be at fault when they look at the replay back. The lights are green. Ali is coming out here in the Eagle S15. Another tap on that front bumper, it looked like, going on initiation, but Steven Jarboe coming out here just being unfazed, being able to fill out each zone and riding that back bumper against the first tire wall. Huge angle going into this final outer zone. Will he do it? Yes, he will.
Yeah, that was nice from Jarboe in that lead position. Kept that car right where it needed to be. For me, just not enough in it. I wonder if Ali knows that he wasn't at fault for going off circuit and kept himself out of danger there. Look at Steven Jarboe though. Jarboe absolutely ripping as he puts that back bumper, that 180 SX, right to the edge of the circuit, on firewall, no messing around. Look at Ali though, keeping his distance, not messing around. He doesn't want to make contact, so I wonder if he knows this one's in the bag for him as they cross the line.
Yeah, it's crazy to see. I think from what we saw on the line map on the judges briefing, there's one designated decel zone that's going from outer zone 3 to outer zone 4. You could modulate the throttle going into the initiation a little bit, so they're going to be looking at that replay. You see the two liveries, and you said you're a fan of the 180 SX. Now you got the inverted, the white, gold, and black on that 180 with the American flag on top. That I do.
Yeah,
like
I really
green,
like that car, man. I do like the green as well. I like the green S15. It's different.
Yeah. And Camus is another direct drive wheel. It's it's more of cost friendly. Let's put it that way. But I have a Camus myself. I enjoy it. Do you actually sim drive, Ian?
Man, if I told you how bad I am at sim driving, you would all laugh at me, because I like watching sim drifting, I like talking about it, I like commentating over it, and I respect every single one of these guys. And if I watch guys sim drive, I just stand there with my hands on my head saying, how do you do it? Because I have tried for hours on end, and I am terrible. So I haven't even wasted my money on buying a sim or trying to get a sim, because, like my wife told me, it would just gather dust in the corner of the house because you wouldn't be able to use it anyway. So no, I'm focusing on my edging at the moment, on building myself yet another kind of pro car. I plan on doing a few events next year and driving once again. I'm going to do some driving in Ireland with the Drift Games guys, and I might even venture out to Europe with a good friend of mine and compete in some championships out there, just to have some fun, just to get back behind the wheel and get some seat time once again.
Yeah, it's definitely cool to see that. the sim was, I have so many hours on the Seto, but most of it is actually on a microphone. So a lot of people, I'll jump on the wheel, and my wheel doesn't collect dust, but I get on it occasionally to study the tracks. And like you said, I enjoy watching these guys drives because it's kind of like watching pro sports teams. You see how excellent they perform, and you're like, man, it's insane what the body could do. And this is where it comes into the real world. The G forces these guys have, like going into a zone or even hitting a wall. You have James Dean hitting a wall at really hard and breaking a collarbone and being able to drift through it. That shows a lot of resiliency, and it's admirable for us as fans.
Yeah, exactly that. Well, it looks like it's going to come down to the replay. Yeah, you could just see it there. Just tagged him on the back bumper. I think that's what the judges are going to break this one down to, Jonathan. To be honest with you, I think this one's going to be all down to Jarboe making that mistake. But yeah, look, I have so much respect for sim drivers, and when they say to me, "Oh, you should have a go," I'm like, "Man, you don't want to see me on a sim. It's dangerous. It's dangerous."
We're looking at it. They're probably gonna also. There's another thing that could be affecting is connection issues. You got these guys coming from all over the world. You got the U.S. You got UK. You got guys from different countries connecting to one server. If there was a ping issue, so basically the latency before the other driver could see it on client side. So client side is basically on their screen. Talking a lot of nerd talk. You could talk all the nerd talk about cars. I could talk about a little bit of technical stuff about computers. All right.
Yeah, it works perfectly. It's perfect harmony because I'm terrible with computers. You're a genius with computers, but you give me a race car, I'll build you a race car.
You know what? Let's do it. Let's go American muscle, baby. I've been actually talking about that. I'm like, we need more American muscle. I would love to see a Mustang in Drift Masters and just straight shred. Or I'm a big Sam Hubinette fan, and I would love to see a Challenger drifting in Drift Masters, but that's a boat of a car to even drive around these tracks.
Yeah, look, I'm a massive fan of Chevys. I'm a massive fan of LSs. So to see Josiah Falaise this year turn up with a C6 Corvette with an LS in it, all NA, nitrous on top, it's just been phenomenal. And just to hear that thing rip is awesome. Yeah,
and I think they're determining if there's a connection issue on that, and they're going to come up with that. But we're going to be, after this battle's done, we go in a break. We're going to actually have a cool interview from the voice of the line from Drift DCGP, so Drift Corner Grand Prix. But it looks like Steven Jarboe gets to win, possibly a D-cell. We'll get an explanation shortly. But Ian, that was the big mistake, the initiation. Okay, so and so look, what happened was it was the point leader can't slow down on that initiation, and basically it looked like he was parking on the initiation, so that's where they determined that. But Ian, what are you thinking, man?
Oh man, I'm loving it. I'm loving every second of it. It's good fun. I look to say I've just got that respect for these guys, and to watch these guys shred around Hungary, knowing that we're going there in 2 weeks' time, it's getting me ready, man. I'm excited to see Zeleski throw that GT86 round there in real world.
Yeah, man, Zeleski is absolute bonkers on the sim and real world. But here you have the G2A MetaPro bracket. This is our top 16. You're gonna have some great battles. You got Dijon Reeves versus Nico Stella, the young buck. You got Abu Hussein versus Steven Jarboe. And what we're gonna have is a commercial coming up like we normally do, but we're also gonna have a special interview with Pavo Korpulinski and our DCGP line voice of the line. So I'm excited to have you guys see this. It's going to be awesome to actually involve the sim community and the virtual community at once. It's like harmony, man. It's like sweet.
Hello everyone and welcome. Today we are hosting Pavo Korpulinski. Hello Pavo.
Hello.
You have mentioned us several times that your first steps in drifting were on a simulator. How do you remember those times with Life for Speed? And wasn't thanks to Sim that you decided to enter the real drifting?
First of all, that's right. I started my journey with drifting in car simulators, and as you mentioned, it was Live for Speed. How I remember these times, it was great times, I would say. I was still going to school back then, back in the days. So I was getting back home and throwing my backpack in the corner, and I just sat myself in front of my PC and drove for hours and hours, upgrading my sim rig and getting better steering wheels and stuff. So I was really having fun back then, and I made a lot of friends that lasted all the way up to today. So I really enjoyed the time, and it actually got me into real drifting also, which is the answer to the second part of your question. I did, as I said, a lot of hours in the simulator in LFS, and then that got me into a real car, which was it wasn't a professionally prepared car at first, of course. So it was really an underpowered old BMW 3 Series, but during my first time driving it, I somehow knew what to do and what inputs should I put and use to steer the car and how to handle it. I knew how the car would behave and all that, thanks to the simulator that I spent a lot of hours in.
So straight from the computer to the real thing, great. So besides being very good at sim drifting, you're also great in sim racing. Do you think the techniques used in racing can be helpful in drifting, or do they rather get in your way?
I definitely think that there are many techniques in racing that can be really useful in drifting. For example, first thing that's coming into my mind right away is the choice of the line, of the racing line. That's a crucial part in both racing and drifting. So to choose a good line in drifting can make you faster and to gain some advantage over your opponent when it comes to battles. So that's definitely a thing. And then I would also say that the other way around, that a lot of racing drivers would gain a lot from a drifting training, let's say. For example, drift drivers are great at throttle management when it comes to holding the slide and holding the car sideways. So we really need to work properly with the gas pedal, and that would definitely help a lot of racing drivers when it comes to the usage of throttle and brakes and overall how we maneuver with the pedals. So I would say that it definitely doesn't get in the way when we put some of the racing training parts into drifting training. I would say they can definitely help.
Okay, so what do you think about the current level of sim drifting? Despite around 100 competitors, you pass qualification, you participate in top 32 of VDM, and we know you have a busy schedule with real-life events. Is it difficult to keep up with the best in the virtual world?
Oh yes, it really is. I've been into sim drifting for many years now, but right now it feels that it's getting out of my hands, I would say, because the competitions are so tough, the drivers are so skillful, so good. They are getting better and better every season. I'm struggling and I'm having a hard time to keep up. I have to be honest with you. And due to my busy schedule, I cannot put so many hours into the virtual practices I would like to. So it's definitely tough, and it's really difficult to be up there when it comes to top 32, top 16, top 8, and so on. It really requires a lot of hours spent in front of the screens and in the rig, in the sim. And yeah, the level is crazy good. It's crazy good. I don't know how I could describe it better, because even if you watch the live stream from Virtual Drift Masters, the battles are so intense. They are so close. There are so small mistakes that are making the judges decide to go either way. I mean, there are so small advantages. We cannot even talk about a driver being better or worse. It's just the driver who makes less mistake at that particular run goes through. So the level is simply amazing, and I can only have huge respect, and I can look with pride at all the virtual sim drifters that are doing so good especially in Virtual Drift Masters. So I'm really happy to see it, but yeah, as I mentioned before at the beginning, I'm really having hard time to keep up with all the virtual guys.
That's awesome. So, that being said, are you satisfied with the current season? You're a current Polish champion and you hold the second place overall, so everything seems to be going according to plan. I assume that winning one of the remaining rounds of Drift Masters is also a target for this season.
Yeah, of course, winning a Drift Masters round would be a dream come true, to be honest. And when it comes to the result we have been getting this year, I would say that right now, as we are halfway through the season, I'm hoping for the second half to be better than the first one, and I'm really keeping my fingers crossed for it to be. We've still got 3 rounds of Drift Masters coming up, and one final round of Polish Drift Championship. So there is still a lot to gain, but at the same time a lot to lose. So we really need to keep going towards the right direction. We really need to keep calm, and I really need to focus on the driving, and especially not to do any mistakes. And drifting is a tough motorsport. One slight error, and that can most likely make you go home and lose the competition. So really need to be focused on what we do. And yes. I'm just hoping for better results second half of the season. Same goes for Virtual Drift Masters, because I've been close to a podium place at one of the rounds, but later on it didn't go as planned. But I'm really keeping my fingers crossed for it to be better, both in real life and in VDM during the second part of the season.
So, Pavel, I wish you all the best. I will keep my fingers crossed, and thank you for your time today. Pavel Korpulinski, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the top 16 of round 5 in Hungary for Virtual Drift Masters. Ian, we had a crazy top 32, man. It's been absolutely bonkers. We have one of the Drift Master drivers actually in the top 16. What are you thinking about his chances now?
I mean, look, Zeleski's on a flyer. He's looking good. He's looking strong. He's told me before that he loves virtual drifting, and oh.
And here we go. It's the top 16 bracket here. For the top 16 out here, we have Dijon, Reeves, Nico, Stella. You have Hauge, Jaku, Parangauskas versus Swan, Darius Ostreika versus Turnquist. And these guys are out here just straight shredding. Ian, it's going to be crazy.
Yeah, hopefully you can hear me now. Can you?
Yeah, now.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I mean, look, these guys have been shredding. They've been throwing down. It's good to see Zeleski out there. I'm excited to see top 16. I think they're going to step it up again now. I think they're going to push a little bit harder than before.
Nice. So looking through the top 16 bracket, you got these guys now practicing, getting ready for their top 16 battles. The one thing I've seen a struggle is going from that power alley from outer zone 5 to 6. Is that the same you're seeing? And if so, is that the similar what you see in the real world?
Yeah, look, we haven't been to Hungary for a few years, and if I remember rightly, it was exactly the same thing. That transition's difficult to get, and especially as they're firing into an immovable concrete wall. Even if it is in a virtual world, it still doesn't move, and we've seen that contact, and we've seen people hit it. There's a lot of separation there, and I think guys need to just get the time in for the transition perfectly right.
Nice. So we're going to get these guys situated. And get them lined up, and we're gonna get this on the road. We got our first battle, which would be the Hauge versus Hauge versus Jaku. Jaku's in the lead of the standings right now. He's been just straight consistent, as well as Darius Ostreika. Those two guys have been consistent going to the quarterfinals. So we'll see how they perform here. Looks like there might be a server reset. You just saw someone just fly off the track.
Yeah, hopefully we don't see that in the real world in 2 weeks' time.
Oh, yeah, no, that would be terrible. You see our lineup here. All the liveries, all the unique liveries, these guys reach out to livery designers to get themselves situated for these type of competitions. You see couple of guys with same team name going through right now. We just saw 3 AOM liveries go through this little camera angle. Now here we go, our first battle, Ian.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. Yeah, Hauge to take on Jakubelis, and look, I mean, Hauge, he had an incredible lead. Can he again? They get the green light. They're ready to go through the gears. Down they come. Big flick across the track. But look at Jakubelis as he goes for that front wheel. Wide though goes Hauge as he almost puts wheels off track there. Jakubelis takes that opportunity to make a dive across the circuit. Through the smoke he comes. Puts the front wheel with the A90 Super to the front wheel and that Mazda RX-7 as they come down now towards the outside zone. This is the tricky part. This long transition towards this immovable concrete wall across the line. Jakubelis putting it to the door.
Man, oh man, Jaku coming out here with that yellow A90, being as super aggressive right off the rip on the initiation. Beautiful angle from Hauge going into that second outer zone. Huge angle again on outer zone 3, but Jaku is just reading him perfectly to stay right into the pocket, surging when he needs to, backs off bumper to bumper all the way through that power alley, and just a clinic right there in the chase.
Yeah, incredible stuff. We swap them back around though now. It is going to be Jakubelis to lead out Hauge. Spot in the Great 8 awaits for one of these guys. And look at that green light straight away. No messing around. Through the gears. Down they come. Both smoking tyres straight off the start line. Jakubelis fires it in right to the edge of the circuit. Very fast from Jaku as he puts the car right to the edge of the circuit now. Hauge looks for the transition. Goes for the door as he puts the back bumper to the tyre wall now. Full throttle once again. Times the transition perfectly. Looks for the front wheel. Looks for the door across the line.
Beautiful run from both of these drivers. You also see Jaku coming into that initiation. Beautiful initiation, and then pulls the e-brake just a little bit to kind of stabilize his car going to the outer zone 2, and then just throttle management all the way through to the first tire wall. Rubs that back bumper against that tire wall. But here's Hauge just being unfazed by the presence. A little bit of a bobble in transition. Looks like he had to kind of get more angle going to that final outer zone. So that possibly could be the crucial mistake from Hauge, and Jaku just seemed like he was on rails. It was weird.
Yeah, Jaku looks absolutely dialed. He looks in the zone. That's what I'm saying. These guys, when they get to top 16, grade 8, they start to turn it up a little bit. They start to, step up another year. And for me, Jakubelis was looking strong. There was some wobbles from Hauge in that chase position, and I think it's going to come down to the finest of hairs here to split these guys for a spot in the grade 8.
And Hauge knows who he's going against, especially in the season standings. If he's able to ruffle up Jaku's feathers and knock him off, this could set himself up to be dropping down a couple positions. But Jaku is just on throughout the whole track. He's able to fill each zone. It seems like a mirror image whenever he's battling and whenever he's leading. But the one thing I do see, he was a little bit further away from the beginning of the wall in the final outer zone, which is what the judges were looking for. They want the guys to drive up to that beginning part of that wall, but we'll see what the judges say. Left for Hauge, right for Jaku.
Oh.
And it looks like Hauge gets the win. Oh, see, it's gonna be a very exciting battle. Jaku gets knocked out, not moving to the grade 8. Crazy turn of events here in Hungary.
Yeah, I mean, look, these guys, they're risking it all. They're trying to do everything they can, and that come down to the finest of margins. And we'll find out from the judges what they were looking at, what they see that we didn't see.
Yeah. The judges will be letting me know on what's good. And now we have our next battle. You have Parangauskas versus Braden Swan, and an AOM member right here getting ready to dive into the pocket of Parangauskas. Parangauskas is another IRT driver. Is another team. So it's a team battle, team versus team here. Seems like on Hungary round 5.
Yeah, and here we go. Ready to rock and roll. They wait for the green light. Parangauskas to lead out Swan. And a little waiting on the start line. These guys will be eager to get off the start line and get the business done. No green light yet. Here we go. Lights light up. Green light ready to go. Lithuania to lead out America right now as they come through the gears. Down, through. Look for that start line. Look for that initiation point. Right to angle as Parangauskas now fires that car in. Looks for the wall as Swan wakes to dive. Looks for the transition now. Gets into the crease, into the pocket as Parangauskas puts the back end of that car into that tyre wall. Up close and personal. Transitions down now. Sets himself up for this wall run as Swan gets right to the door.
Beautiful run from both of these drivers, but it's going to be a tit for tat. Let's see how the transition was on that final outer zone. It looked like there was a little bobble from the lead driver, but going to outer zone 2, beautiful fill out from the lead driver here. And Swan is coming in to dive into the pocket on outer zone 4, going into 5, and just being as aggressive as he needs to be. And going into this final outer zone, yep, he was a little bit late going to that wall. That's something that I noticed, but we'll see what the judges look at that. I did get a confirmation on what happened on the previous battle. So, Ian, let's see how they run.
Yeah, swap them around now. As Swan leads out Parangauskas for a spot in the grade 8, awaits through the gears, down they come, looks for that back bumper, look at this, Parangauskas waits for the initiation, and Swan is up and gone as he fires that back end to the wall. A little wobble from both guys as they carry big angle through now to this tyre wall as they get into that zone. Parangauskas now starts to gain on him, starts to get that proximity as he goes for the back bumper, looks for the door across the line on the front wheel.
bonkers. That first, well, I did see a mistake. Let's see if we'll see on the drone camera with Braden Swan coming in with the initiation. Going to outer zone 2, it looked like he might have made contact with that first wall going in. It's really hard to tell with that smoke screen and gauge from Braden Swan as he's going through each zone. But, man, Parangauskas is just straight shredding behind him, letting him know that he is there. A little bit of contact on that final outer zone. But it's going to be going tit for tat on this one. See who had the most mistakes.
Yeah, they're going to be just, again, just the judges going to be splitting it down to who made more mistakes. And both guys can run a really nice, clean lead line. But I think for me, it's the chase. A lot of guys making errors on the chase, the transitions, the little wobbles, the lack of proximity. That's all it really comes down to.
Yeah, for from the previous battle, it was actually down to the chase. Joachim had a better chase than Jaku.
Yeah.
That's where it leaned towards him on that battle. But we'll see what the judges look. That pink and black livery on that 180, and then you got the yellow and black. Yellow is my favorite color, so I like the yellow and black. But that pink and black is clean. Here we go. Parangauskas to the left, Swan to the right. And one more time. Okay, let's get it. Get some new tires, guys. Virtual tires, for instance. Is you don't have to worry about getting all muddy and gritty.
No pit crew.
Yeah, no pit crew. That's insane. The guys that put the pit crews, I feel like they don't get as much praise as they should at times. They bust their tails every time they're in a competition. But now we have our one more time battle. Yeah, Darren Parangauskas in the lead. Braden Swan in the chase. AOM versus IRT. Here we go. Parangauskas with
they go.
180.
Run with it, Jonathan. You get this one.
Oh, yeah, you get it. You killing it.
You want me to get it? I'll get it.
We're going all the way through, all the way to outer zone 4. Beautiful transition from both drivers, and we're both excited for this battle, so we're trying to fight over who's going to be talking about it, but Braden Swan is getting doors. We'll let you know how you go.
I knew from the one more time, as soon as it was one more time, I knew these guys are going to go hard, and we both got excited as well. Look at the speed he carries there on initiation. Look at the angle. Matched it perfectly. But Swan dialed it off a little bit and then waited for the transition. Look at this again. Look, tags the door. Look at the angle. Lead and chase identical. And then he shallows it off, ready for the transition. This is absolutely beautiful. Mirror image.
The beautiful, my favorite part about that is on the drone replay was seeing how Braden Swan was able to dive into that final outer zone, right to the door.
Oh, here we go through. They come down. Nice flick to initiation. Big angle carried now. Swan wants this one. Hungry for it. Parangauskas those shallows up the angle with Swan now. Transitions across out to that rear zone. Looks for the tyre wall now. Puts the back end that 180 SX right where it needs to be. But this is tip for tap. This is mirror image as they transition down for this final long outside zone. Across the line, door to door.
They are not making it easy for the judges today. You got our replay coming in. Braden Swan coming out here, just straight smoke show right off the rip, putting nice angle. Looks like a little bit of a correction, but able to fill out each zone on the first 2 and 3 is beautiful, good transition. But here's Parangauskas just mirroring him and trying to keep that proximity. Falls back a little bit to try to dive right back into the pocket, and he does on that final outer zone, door to door, tire on door as well. It was great to see these two duke it out, man.
They were slugging it out, man. That was a slugfest. Them two weren't messing around. I thought there was going to be contact. I thought there might have been an accident, but you could tell they were hungry for it. As soon as he went one more time, they were straight on that start line, ready to rock and roll. No messing around. And again, they've made it tough for the judges.
And these two are not unfamiliar with competitions. They always find a competition to compete in almost weekly at times, and it shows here. The consistency from the both drivers, the aggressiveness to the style. Parangauskas is just a straight shredder. Swan is a shredder. He's been spreading his wings all over the world with virtual drifting.
Yeah, Crazy how good these guys are and the amount of hours they put in. And we're not talking like 10 or 20 hours. We're talking hundreds of hours on a sim, hundreds of hours behind the wheel, you know, honing their talent. And it just goes to show how good they are.
It's cool to see that, and it's unique, especially with the physics in the Assetto Corsa. But we got the judge's decision. Left for Parangauskas, right for Swan, and Braden Swan gets the win, goes to the Great 8, spreading his wings even further, and he's going to be going against Hauge. Now, the next battle we have is Darius Ostreika versus Linus Turnquist. There is the Don Ostreika, been absolutely stellar, and VDC as well as VDC is at like the pro level in the US based and European based. Absolutely insane to drive with him.
Yeah, Ostreika looking good. These guys both on form. Everyone in the top 16 is just absolutely on it. No one's really making mistakes. And Ostreika to lead out Turnquist. So there we go, we get the lights illuminated, wait for that green light right at the very bottom. And Ostreika to lead out Turnquist. They're through the gears down. The A90 Supra to lead out the E36 BMW on the foot brake. Into they go, onto the door. Turnquist wants this one. The Swedish driver looks at Lithuanian Supra, dives up onto the door, looks for the outside zone. But Ostreika unfazed, unproblematic as he looks for that outside zone now. Comes for the long wall run. Turnquist right onto the rear wheel.
Wow. Very, very aggressive towards the second half. I want to see if there was a little bit of a correction going from outer zone 2 and 3 from Linus, but beautiful initiation from Darius, filling it out, going from 2 to 3. Good. Oh, yep. He was able to dive in, and then he had to kind of back off a little bit going into the Bauer alley. That made him bobble a little bit, going from 4 to 5, which it's not a huge mistake, but when you're talking about in this kind of battles, it's a huge mistake.
Yeah. That one little split-second moment of a decision, that one correction on the steering, that could be you going through to the Great 8 or going home. And these guys, they just cannot make mistakes. They need to be pinpoint perfect. Ostreika now to chase down Turnquist. And that A90 Supra is taking a run in. Knows he needs to carry some speed here. He knows that Turnquist fast in that BMW E36. Through the gears, they go through the chicane. Clean start from both guys as they look for the big initiation. And look at this, he goes for the Zeleski style initiation. As Ostreika now looks for the back bumper, transitions. Can he gain that proximity? Can, as he tucks up on the inside. Onto the door he goes as they go to the wall. Ostreika right into the pocket, into the zone. As Turnquist transitions down for that final outside zone. Look at Ostreika glued to the rear wheel.
And that was insane, but that final wall ride, Turnquist was just riding that back bumper against it. Beautiful initiation. It looks like Darius was kind of just filled out with smoke throughout that whole first half, but Darius is able to dial it in and dive right into the pocket when he needs to and give himself some room for that transition. Beautiful transition and getting right back on the door. That transition was so buttery smooth, probably millimeters away from bumpers.
It was, yeah, it was millimeters away. That was incredible stuff. And these guys want it. They're hungry for it. A lot on the line. Some prize money, then VIP tickets to the final at the PG Narodovway. They all want it, Jonathan. They all want that prize.
I wouldn't blame them, man. Going out there to an insane event like that, I just could imagine the energy that's in there in Poland. But here we go. Darius Ostreika to the left. Turnquist to the right. Ostreika gets the win. Moves on to the Great 8. And next battle, we have Dijon Rampage Reeves versus Nico the Kid Stella.
Oh, this is going to be good. Stella's looking on form. He's just dialed. He's in the zone. 12 years old, did you say? 12 years old today.
Yeah, his birthday is today. He asked me if I could sing happy birthday, but I said it's copyright strike. So
oh, there we go, on the line. I'm ready to rock and roll. It will be Stella to lead out Reeves. And Reeves chasing down Stella, the birthday boy. Can he get a bit of birthday cake? Can he get on the podium? Big transition, big initiation. But look at Reeves, he dials it in. He's glued to the back bumper. He's glued to the door. These guys are going for it. This is a slugfest between the pair of them. But look at Stella. He's absolutely dialed. He's in the zone. He wants it. He's hungry for it. Shallow transition, though, from Reeves as he comes down onto the wall and shallows off the angle once again.
Oh, my goodness. Reeves just straight slugging right into that door, right off the rip, getting that angle, mirroring him through each zone, going to outer zone 2 and 3 is beautiful transition. He gives him some room and is able to dial himself back in to the pocket of Nico Stella. Nico Stella is just straight bonkers getting through each zone, and here comes Reeves, a little bit of a three-wheeling going into outer zone 5 and 6. I love three-wheeling, but I think it was a little bit too gripped up going into that final outer zone.
Yeah, and almost messed himself up there carrying that much speed. When we swap him around, it will be Reeves to lead out Stella. And Stella knows he needs to be glued to the door. Look at this, already creeping on the start line, jumping that front bumper up and down as he now comes through the gears. Gets onto the back end, big flick to initiation from Reeves as he puts that 180SX right to the edge of the circuit. Stella with him though, a little wobble onto the wall, gives it separation, now dives for the smoke, looks for the side of that 180SX as he glues it to the side. The front wheel is in danger of making contact on the transition as he makes it work though as he's glued to the door.
I'm speechless. This Nico Stella always amazes me every time he competes. Almost the same initiation, but it looks like a big correction in the chase, but was able to reel himself back in, hold his angle, and just keep that proximity as tight as possible. Oh my goodness. Reeves doing a great job in the lead, but Nico Stella is just trying to stay right there as if he was his shadow. And his kid is just crazy, man.
Yeah, this kid is, he's got a lot of talent.
We need to get like his car on a Billy the Kid Wanted poster. Just Nico the Kid Stella. And it looks like Nico Stella gets the win. Ijon Rampage Reeves gets knocked out. Great performance from both of these drivers. Man, that was a battle.
Yeah, that was one hell of a battle. Them guys were not messing around. And it's heating up. It's heating up.
Yeah, and then we're going to have our right side of our bracket come up. So for our grade 8, we have Hauge versus Swan, and then Ostreika versus Stella. So that's going to be a tight battle there. Now we have Tarasov versus Mustard. And Mustard's been doing a great job as well, proving his worth out here on the competition in SimWorld. See if he'll put out on a spicy lap.
Yeah, Tarasov to lead out Mustard. Mustard, look, he had a lot of aggression in that first top 32 battle. Can he bring it again? Tarasov had the speed though, had the angle, and had that clinical lead line. Can Mustard bring the fight? Can he throw down? Can he bring the Dijon? Can he spice it up a little bit as he throws it onto the start line, ready to rock and roll? Here we go, lights, get ready to go green, green light as Tarasov now leads them through the chicane, down through the gears. Mustard to give him chase, looks for the back bumper and goes early on the initiation, goes for that front wheel as Mustard looks for Tarasov on the transition, makes it work as Tarasov now flicks that car across the circuit. You can see Mustard glued to that front wheel. He's not giving him an inch. He's not letting him drive away as Tarasov comes down the power alley, bumper to bumper transition. He's tagging the rear wheel onto the wall, onto the door he goes.
Man, Mustard is out here being that surprising spice that you need that clears out the sinuses, coming out right off the rip, trying to keep that proximity off that first wall, but a little bit shallow, I guess, on the line, but able to dive back in and going through this power alley is able to angle up and then transition, rubbing that back bumper and clearing the sinuses of Tarasov.
He threw it down there. There was no messing around, especially on that transition. He flirted with danger. If it was just a couple of centimeters further forward, he would have put them both into the wall. He made that work. It was very good driving from Mustard. Tarasov now needs to be even closer, be even more aggressive. But Mustard needs to give him that lead line and need to see that 100-point qualifying run. Here we go. Great light goes green through the gears. They go Mustard to lead out Tarasov for a spot in the Great 8 awakes. Through the gears, down, big flick to angle as Mustard fires it in. Can Tarasov hold on? He can. As they go bumper to bumper to the wall. No messing around on the transition. Tarasov's closer than Mustard was now. As Tarasov shallows up the angle on that inside zone, goes wide down that power alley, flicks the car through. Mustard goes for the wall. Tarasov glued to the side.
And a 360 at the end from Mustard. Being super excited coming out here. Nice initiation. It was smooth. It was a nice, generous flick going into that first outer zone, filling out the second outer zone, setting himself up. Hey, I need to get a nice line so this chase driver can get that proximity, because a good chase is from a good lead at most times. But man, Tarasov coming out here just straight, letting him know, I don't care if you're better than me or if you're in a higher bracket, but man, I'm just gonna slug it out with you.
Certainly did, and there we go, and it proves that Mustard gets the win, advances through into the Great 8. That aggression, that style, that line was what it all came down to. Tarasov just couldn't hang, just couldn't match that qualifying line.
Yeah, and beautiful performance from Mustard, being able to stabilize himself, get himself aggressive right off the rip, and I think that's the benefit being in the chase. Now we have our next battle, Tasiemski versus Petru, Pika, or also people call it Taco. He's going to be in the chase with that A90 Supra. It's a funny inside joke from most of the sim drivers, but we got Tasiemski in the S15, Petru in the chase with the A90 Supra, coming in with a beautiful initiation from Tasiemski all the way to that first outer wall. But here's Petru using that left foot brake to kind of stabilize his car so he can be able to dive to that first tire wall. But Tasiemski is all the way in that wall, being able to be as aggressive as he needs to be. And Petru is right there, keeping that shadow alive.
That was nice. Mistakes, though, from Petru in that chase. The lead line was absolutely beautiful. Look at this. Sticks it to the wall, sticks it to that qualifying line. But look, he made some mistakes. He goes almost over-rotates there, puts too much angle in. Finds himself back in it, though. Dives, gets that proximity. But look here, shallows up the angle. Oh, and it's very shallow for a long time. He did work and ends up mid-track across the finish line. Petru there, just a few mistakes creeping into his chase. Can he have a cleaner lead against Tasiemski?
Yeah, and we were talking about it earlier, how it's fine mistakes could be huge. It's going to be huge mistakes in these battles here. But we have Petru coming out here with that purple and black 890 Supra, and you have Tasiemski just straight smoke show right off the line. But here's Petru, beautiful angle, huge angle, going to outer zone 2. Beautiful transition, but here's Tasiemski just letting him know I am here all the way through to outer zone 4. And here's the power alley, early transition from Tasiemski, and my goodness, able to keep that proximity throughout the whole lap.
Wow, that was incredible. The transitions there, the camera view on that wall run, you see him go bumper to bumper. It's just insane. Look at this, nice initiation, big angle. Tasiemski deals with it, holds on as he now shallows up the angle. Look, and that encourages the line, encourages the proximity to get right up onto that front wheel, and you can see him just wobbling a little bit there down on the door. But look at this, big moment of shallow angle, but he makes it work. He doesn't gain that proximity across the line, though, and I think the judges would like to have seen that.
Yeah, and it's wild to see the amount of angle these guys are able to carry that momentum going to outer zone 2. That was insane. Left for Tasiemski, right for Petru, and Tasiemski gets the win and moves on to the Great 8. Our next battle coming out here, Chulkov versus Zeleski. And we already talked about it earlier. We were saying, hey, let's see how he holds up. Man, Ian, I'm rooting for your boy.
Yeah, Zeleski's looking good. He's looking strong. Unfortunately, Korpulinski just couldn't get it done this weekend. But, hey, look, it happens to the best of them. Chulkov, though, for me, Chulkov has been looking dialed. He looks aggressive. He looks fast. He's got a very clean lead. He's got the green light, that's for sure, and he's ready to go. Zeleski knows he needs a good run in here. He's going to go for that wild initiation. He goes wide and flicks the door already as they go wheel to wheel, door to door. A little tag onto the wall though from Chulkov, and that upsets the line ever so slightly, and that encourages Zeleski to get into the pocket, into the groove. As Zeleski now looks for that front wheel once again, he wobbles a little bit. Oh, and he can't toss the track on transition into the wall, onto the door he goes. Zeleski's playing angry.
Yeah, and I think Zeleski was trying to do the same initiation he did a previous battle, trying to get side by side, but was a little bit caught off guard by that wavering initiation. But man, that little contact in the outer zone too, and then Zeleski's going out here, just being as dialed as possible. A little bit of a bobble, and then another contact going on that transition. That's a big mistake. Let's see what the judges think, if it's a lead or it's chase pull.
Yeah, so mistakes from both. Can we get a clean run this time? Zeleski will want to throw down, as we say, that 100-point qualifying run, try and keep it clean. Chulkov will want to try to be glued to the door, mirror that angle, mirror that line the whole way through, and try not to get lost, because we know Zeleski's going to throw a big angle initiation here as he comes down. Messing around, Zeleski smokes the tyres on the back of that GT86 as he flicks it in, and he does throw on big angle. Now as he works the angle, puts the back bumper 90 degrees to the wall, fires the car across the circuit, looks for it again, but look at Chulkov as he dives through the smoke, looks for that front wheel. Zeleski deals with it, dials on more angle, keeps the angle down the hill, through into that final outside zone, but look at Chulkov glued to the door.
Man, Zeleski out here just being an animal, being the straight samurai that he is, coming in, Drake's initiation, uses some left foot brake to get that nice angle to outer zone 2, diving into outer zone 3, and my goodness, the beautiful movements that the chase driver is doing to get right back into the pocket. And Zeleski is out here making Tom Cruise look bad and saying, I am actually the last samurai. Oh man, I'm so glad you knew that reference. That was a good movie too.
I love the movie references.
Once in a while, you'll get the me quoting some lyrics from songs that are PG. So we got Artem Chulkov to the left, Zeleski to the right, and Chulkov gets the win. Moves on. Looks like maybe that contact on that transition is what kind of sealed the fate of Zeleski.
Yeah, I think we see a bit of a reoccurring pattern here from the chase driver. If you're too aggressive and you're causing a little bit of contact and it upsets that lead car, that is it. You can pretty much count yourself out of the battle.
And now you see the skid marks on the track, and then our virtual fans out there, I'm pretty sure they're cheering your name, Ian. While we see our sponsors out there in the back, the MetaPro, G2A being the main sponsors for Virtual Drift Masters. Our next battle out here, the final battle for the top 16, Abu Hussein versus Steven Jarboe. Let's see if Steven Jarboe could straight shred it out here. Another guy up there from the AOM members. Steven Jarboe in the lead, 180SX, GT86 on the right there, trying to get that proximity right off the rip. Abu Hussein is trying to keep it dialed in and tame throughout the first wall ride and going into the first tile wall. Nice transition from both drivers going into the power alley. Beautiful momentum from Steven Jarboe, getting really aggressive going to that final outer wall.
Yeah, move really nice from Jarboe. Look at this, nice initiation from me. Hussein, he dialed it in lovely, dialed in the angle, dialed in onto the door, and kept his cool here, kept it clean. Look at this, worked his way right up onto the pocket, kept that angle exactly the same as Jarboe as they transition, but he got himself lost here a little bit in the middle of the circuit, had to find that door, and he made contact just across the line.
Yeah, man, unfortunate. He had to sacrifice the line to get that proximity to the final outer zone from what I was seeing there. But we have Abu Hussein in the lead. Steven Jarboe in the chase. Steven Jarboe with that white 180 coming in. More of a straight line initiation from Steven Jarboe in the chase. But man, Abu Hussein, beautiful initiation going to the outer zone 2. And now just filling out each zone as best as possible. But Steven Jarboe is stuck to his door throughout each zone so far and literally being as aggressive as he can be.
Yeah, that was nice. That was nice. Very clean. No mistakes from either guy, really. Look at this. Big initiation. And Jarboe took the opportunity to dial it in. Look at this. But he backs out of it early, transitions, and finds himself in the middle of the circuit. then starts to work himself back into the pocket, then starts to clean it up as we see Hussein out front, just keeping it dialed, keeping on that line. Jarboe finds the door right across the line. Nice, but there was some bubbles there from Jarboe in the chase.
Yeah, so it's going to go tit for tat. Abu Hussein to the left, Jarboe to the right. And it looks like Steven Jarboe gets the win and moves on to the Grade 8. Now, you said at the top 8, you're going to be kind of seeing who you're going to go for, you know, Ian. So you got Hauge versus Swan, Ostreika, Stella, Mustard, Tasiemski, Chulkov versus Jarboe.
It's going to be Stella.
It's insane, man. It's going to be Stella?
It's going to be Stella. I'm telling you, he's straight up killing it. His lead line is clean. His chase is dangerous. I think it's going to take a lot to take him down, man.
Yeah, well, it's Stella. He's been an absolute animal throughout the rounds. He's been not the underdog, but I feel like underwhelmed at times. But we're going to be going into our short break, 5-minute break. This is our bracket. Ian, man, this is a wild ride. It's an absolute honor, like I said before. And this is going to be crazy for the Final Four.
It's going to be insane. It's going to be good. I'm looking forward to it.
All right. All right, I guess we're back. We're skipping that 5-minute break. We're getting ready for the next see who's going into the Final Four. We talked about, you said Stella is going to make it there. I could see that. But also I'm looking at Spicy Mustard over there. He's been clearing sinuses from some of these drivers.
Man, he's on form and you know he's looking good. He's looking strong. I mean, look, I would have put money on Ostreika, right? I'm just gonna say, but he's got to battle Stella, and I think Stella's a better driver.
Yeah, it's gonna come into who's gonna have the heavy left hook or right hook going into this battle, and man, these guys probably put about the same amount of hours on the sim. So we'll see how this goes on. Braden Swan out there spreading his wings, going up against Hauge, and man, like to see these guys we have two drivers that actually three drivers from the AOM team that are in the Grade 8 battle. And you have Ostreika representing his team, Stella representing his team. These guys are out for blood in these battles.
Yeah, they are. They're out for blood. Like I say, there's a lot on the line. There's a lot at stake. There's some good prize money, and there's some VIP tickets to the PG in Narodovway in just a few months' time. And here we go. We're on the line, ready to rock and roll. The first battle of our Grade 8 underway. Hauge to take on Swan. Swan's looking good, but Hauge's just been that little bit better than everyone else every single time. He's had that little killer instinct, the blood in the water. He can smell it, he can taste it. And here we go, through the gears he goes. Big opposite flick for Hauge as he fires that car in. A little wobble though, but he keeps a hold of it now. And Swan deals with the angle as Swan goes for the transition. Swan looks for it as he fires onto that front wheel. He knows Hauge can be trusted. He knows he's got that clean lead line as Hauge comes down the power rally, through the gears, down up onto the wall. And look at Swan glued, making contact across the line.
Man, Swan spreading his wings and flying. And we're going to say fly, Swan, fly, coming into this initiation, losing the proximity, but able to reel him in. But Hauge, big flick going into that first outer zone to outer zone 2. Beautiful transition. Little to no input on the tires, on the front tires, as you see him going to that first tire wall, just using all that momentum to carry himself out. Possibly a little bit of a contact on the transition, but Swan is just out there. It looks like he's just having fun right now, how he's driving.
Yeah, he is. He's in the zone, like I say. And when you get a driver that's comfortable and they're in the zone, they're dangerous. And that's when they get that killer instinct and they can taste that virtual champagne on that virtual podium at the end of the day. And here we go. Green light and ready to go. Swan to lead out. Hauge for a spot in the final 4 awaits. They fire through. They're down through the gears. Big transition. A big flick to angle from Swan, but he deals with it. Left foot brake heavily applied as he slows that car down. Now opens up the throttle. Now starts to find the grip and the pace and drives away from Hauge. And Hauge, not even in this one at the moment, has to shortcut the circuit, has to make a dive on that final outside zone.
Yeah, that was insane, that initiation, coming in with a big Scandinavian flick, bang, right into the angle, locked in, and just riding that outer line, going to outer zone 2. Beautiful transition from Swan, and Hauge is getting lost in the sauce a little bit, but Braden Swan, you see him getting as much momentum as possible, going to that final outer zone and able to reel it in, but Hauge gives him a little bit of contact and pushes Swan a little bit into the wall.
Yeah, a little bit of contact at the end of the run, but I think that's nothing compared to the rest of it. I think this is done and dusted. I think this is Swans all day long.
Yeah, I would think so as well. Hauge did a really good lead run, but Swan was being very aggressive throughout the laps from what I saw. But then when you're seeing the initiation from Swan and his lead lap versus Hauge's chase lap, Hauge was struggling a little bit to try to hold that proximity in, which it looked like Swan was trying to slow himself down so he doesn't make contact. Then we got left for Hauge, right for Swan. And it looks like Swan gets the win, and he spreads his wings going to the final 4. Oh, man. And our next battle is what we were talking about earlier before the break. There's Ostreika and Nico Stella.
Yeah.
Nico, look, Stella, man.
Stella's looking good. I would have put money on Ostreika and Stella being in that final 4. But look, at the end of the day, there can only be one winner, and these two have to fight it out before the final. They get the green light ready to go. And Ostreika will be leading out Nico Stella. He's got the green light. He hasn't seen... Oh, there we go. We've got the green light now. At some point. There we go. We get the green light. Ostreika gets that green light in the A90 Super. Out Nico Stella through the gears. Nice initiation right to the edge of the circuit. Where Stella, though, he's in the smoke because he's on the door. And Ostreika carries that angle massively. As Stella now finds himself back onto the door once again on that front wheel. He's closer than anyone's been down those transitions. Look at that bumper to bumper as Stella pushes Ostreika across the line.
All right, Ian, you know, I am humble enough to say I was wrong, but yeah, Stella got lost and we didn't know where he was. He was straight on the door and just staying on the door of Darius Ostreika. It looked like Nico Stella had a go-go gadget magnet and stuck his door on door with that whole lap. It was insane.
Yeah, I mean, look, from the initiation all the way out, he was just there. It's crazy when a chase driver is so close to the lead car that you cannot see him anymore because that's how dialed in the zone they are. Can he get that lead line dialed? Can Ostreika repay the favour? We're about to find out. Stella fires in, big angle, and look at Ostreika. He mirrors it. He knows he needs to match that angle, and look at this from Ostreika. This is going to Pound Town right now. These two are hitting chunks out of each other. There's no messing around as Stella fires down. Ostreika goes for the door once again, and this is tit for tat.
Wow. Great lead lap from Darius before, but this right here, I think that the initiation just took the cake. Really snap to angle, get real aggressive with it, going each zone. Beautiful transition from both of the drivers. The proximity was there going to the first tire wall, but comparing the chase versus lead, I look at Stella's chase was 10 way better from initiation to the end compared to Darius losing that proximity in the middle of that.
Yeah, exactly. You know, look, I think for me it was Stella's chase, Stella's lead. I think everything about it was beautiful, but I could be wrong. I've been wrong in the past multiple times, but from where I'm sitting, Stella just looks dialed. He looks in the zone, but Ostreika's driving. He can't be laughed at because that guy is making some moves.
Yeah, this is it's crazy. I'm thinking about how Ostreika is just hanging out in his sim rig, and then you have Stella just swinging his feet with a Capri Sun and just chilling, like having a fun time. This is another day in his life, you know.
Just enjoying himself.
Absolutely. Yeah, man. We'll see this replay here. Like Stella was right there, right off the rip, going into the transition, bumper to bumper, both transitions right off the rip. It was surgical. And going through that power alley, Stella was able to settle himself down. It looked like he was getting ready to transition a little earlier, and then he's like, wait, let me wait for him to move. Man, oh man. Here we go. Slide him left for Ostreika. Slide him right for Stella.
Oh.
And it looks like Stella gets the win. David wanted to see an OMT, and that was just, I think David just enjoyed that battle way too much.
Yeah, that often happens. We all do it. We see a fun battle and we just want to see it again.
Now we have the guys getting ready for the right side of the bracket. You have Cameron Mustard versus Lukasz Tasiemski. We were talking about Cameron earlier too. He's been on a tear, being super aggressive, and we're gonna see how aggressive he's gonna be in this battle. We have Vamos in the chat. We got people that are supporting Nico Stella from the Skuko team. There you go. Cameron Mustard versus Lukasz.
And here we go, green light ready to rock and roll. Mustard to chase down Tasiemski. That S15 looking rock solid, but he fires in. Look at Mustard, he knows he needs to be with him, and he is with him right up on the door, all up in his business. Looks for the transition, gets a little lost, and now times it perfectly. Gets back up into the pocket again, into the zone, shallows up the angle now, waits for the transition. They fire across the circuit. Tasiemski looks for the outside zone, and Mustard's on the rear wheel.
That was a very surprising chase from Mustard from what we've seen previously. I want to take a look if there was any major corrections he did, but going into the first two outer zones was good, but it looks like he fell back a little bit too far and then fell all the way off towards the end. But yeah, the proximity wasn't there going from outer zone 4 to 5, and then he was just trying to regain that momentum to carry out to that final outer zone. We usually see him sticking it to the door throughout the whole lap.
Yeah, it was a little, maybe a little chink in the armour, a little bit of nerves maybe, thinking about being in that final four. Well, here we go, he's off the line to lead out Tasiemski now as they come through that chicane. Down they come, flicks that car across the circuit, right to the edge of the circuit, goes Mustard, and look at Tasiemski right on that front wheel, no messing around, bumper to bumper transition once again, flicks that car right up onto the front wheel. Oh, and a little tag on the wall was that, a little upset, a little waver, and Tasiemski deals with it now as Mustard makes a mistake. You can see Mustard up onto the wall, Tasiemski on the back bumper.
And man, that initiation from Cameron, I thought he was going to go off track. He came in really hot, just sent it all the way in there, used that e-brake to go into that second outer zone, was able to fill it out. But let's see on this tire wall if he made some contact. Yeah, he did. The judge is going to look at that, see if there was, it possibly looked like the chase driver may have rubbed up against him, but we can't really look at it in this angle. But that 360 at the end, as Cameron always likes to do. That transition, that's going to be a crucial point with going into the final four, and even that tire wall, that contact on the tire wall, Did the chase driver touch him? Maybe we'll see that replay again.
Yeah, I'm intrigued to see how the judges see that one. Did the chase driver put the lead car into the wall, or was it just not heavy enough? Well, we will find out as soon as that decision drops in.
And for the people that are wondering in the chat, if you want to get these cars, you go to VDM.gp, download their app, and you could be able to download their cars and download the tracks, and also follow the Drift Masters social medias on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. It's X now, right? Yeah, X.
Yep, X.
And it looked like Lukasz Tasiemski gets the win and moves on to the final four, knocks off the spicy mustard. And now we have our final battle of the Grade 8, Artem Chulkov versus Steven Jarboe. And we'll see if we could get these guys up to the line and get as aggressive as possible right off the rip.
Yeah, the final battle of our Grade 8 awaits. 3 members of our driver grid into that final four already, ready to do business. And here we go, coming in hot is Chulkov, ready to do business. These two guys aren't messing around. Look at this. A little back up off the line for Jarboe as he wants to get a little bit of a run in here. He knows Chulkov's fast, and he won't be messing around. This is it. The final spot, final four awaits for one of these drivers. Who will it be? Will it be Ukraine? Will it be who will take it through? Big initiation, a lazy one though from Chulkov, and that opens the door for Jarboe. Jarboe almost makes contact with that front wheel, has to back out of it ever so slightly as they transition now, looks for the outside zone as Jarboe looks for the door of Chulkov's car, flicks it through, looks for that power rally, that final. That's Jarboe back on the door once again.
Man, oh man. Steven Jarboe out here just trying to be as aggressive as possible. It looked like he had to slow down a little bit right before the initiation, but then able to dive into the pocket, use that left foot brake and to keep that proximity going to outer zone 3, and then loses the proximity going to outer zone 4, going to 5, but was able to reel him in, had to slow down the transition. He was transitioning possibly a little bit too early, but was able to keep an active chase. I don't know if that's going to be enough for Chulkov.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Jarboe looking strong. Well, we swapped him around now. It will be Chulkov to chase down Jarboe. And this could be the final run of our Grade 8. Unless we get one more time. We've seen a few of those this evening, this afternoon already from over the world you're watching. And we wait for those start lines to light up. And you can see the run-in that Chulkov's got already. He knows that getting that run-in, gaining that momentum helps massively. And here we go, the lights start to illuminate. We wait for the green light at the bottom, and it's go through the chicane. It comes Jarboe, ready to rock and roll through the gears, down. Look at that bumper to bumper initiation, big flick from Jarboe as he goes for the wall, but Chulkov's with him. That goes for an early transition. Does he make it pay off? He does, as he dives through the smoke. Onto the tyre wall goes Jarboe, and Chulkov's on the inside, up onto the door. In the pocket he goes, transitions down, looks for that front wheel once again, to the wall across the line.
Man, already out here just straight slaying, but I might have seen a contact going from outer zone 3 to 4, but we'll see here on the drone replay. Steven Jarboe does a great job on the transition, fills it out. No, it would just look like an upset. It looked like Steven Jarboe possibly ripped some e-brake to try to set himself up for outer zone 4. Going to the power alley, Chulkov is just being super aggressive in every zone as possible, and this is going to be something that the judges are going to look at.
Yeah, 100%. They'll be looking at all the finer details, but only one of these guys can make it through to that final four. We're closer and closer. Only one more battle away from these guys being in a final or the third and fourth place playoff. Who will take it through? And it will be Chulkov. Chulkov gets the win, advances through to the final four, and unfortunately Jarboe bows out of competition.
No mercy. You got these guys just straight shredding. We have our final four battles showing up right here as Braden Swan versus Nico Stella, Lukasz Tasiemski versus Artem Chulkov in our G2A MetaPro bracket. Let's see how this top 32 bracket showed crazy battles right off the rip, and these guys are moving on. Nico Stella doing a great job. You said he was consistent. You said he was a stellar driver. No pun intended, but we'll see if he gets the podium here. And we have Braden Swan out here trying to spread his wings, man. And he's someone that Stella and Swan is going to be an interesting battle to see.
It certainly is going to be an interesting battle to see. And, you know, I think that for me, Stella brings that little bit more of aggression. And that aggression could be enough to just take it over Swan. Swan's super consistent, though.
Yeah, but it's crazy to see. I have seen both of these guys compete. And with Swan, he loves to turn it up when he needs to. We'll see if he turns it up out here, man. He's an absolute animal when he comes into these kind of competitions. So we have Braden Swan and Nico Stella. Winner moves on to first and second place battle. Loser moves on to a possibility of getting third place.
Yeah, and here we go. They're on the line, ready to rock and roll. Swan, the higher qualifier, leads out Nico Stella. The lights light up, and look at Stella already jumping that car off the line. Birthday boy. Well, can he get a birthday treat this weekend as he fires through onto the back bumper? Look at Swan, dials it in, big angle, flick. But Stella deals with it, goes for an early transition now. Stella flicks through the smoke, looks for the side of Swan's 180SX as he looks for the door, looks for that front wheel. They come down through that power alley. Oh, and that transition was beautiful. It was absolutely textbook.
That was insane. Nico Stella has been super consistent with his chase driving, but you see Braden Swan coming in with a beautiful initiation, use some left foot braking to angle up and get to that second outer zone right in that back bumper out against that wall. Beautiful transition from him in the lead, but Nico Stella is just staying there, not being phased by this whole thing. A little bit slow on the transition in the chase, but able to dive back into the pocket. Let's see if Braden Swan would turn up the turbo here.
Yeah, well, here we go. Swan and Stella ready to go. Stella with the opportunity to lead out Swan. Swan knows what he needs to do. As you said earlier, Jonathan, the spotters would have been telling him, everyone watching around the world would have been shouting at their laptops or their phones right now as Stella fires it in, gets that car to angle. Lovely. Oh, and he makes a mistake. A chink in the armour from Nico Stella as he tags the wall, and that opens the door for Swan as Swan looks for the back end. He knows he could have this one in the pocket. He keeps it clean, looks for the transition, goes for the door, and gets it job done across the line.
Oh, no. Nico Stella coming in here. Let's see what happens. Beautiful initiation. He's been doing very good. Yep, he made contact with the wall. That's a big mistake. And we're going to see possibly pretty clear-cut decision on there, compared lead versus lead. But Swan, even through that mistake that the lead driver did, Swan is smooth and consistent right behind him. And we were saying earlier, he has been consistent throughout the battles. But we're going to look at the decision from the judges. On the bottom left, you also see the social media for Drift Masters. The Twitch, Facebook, you got their X, VDM.gp to download their stuff. If you're in the YouTube, you already know we're out here talking to you guys in the chat. Slide him right for Swan. Slide him right for Stella.
Yep.
And Swan gets the win. Has a guaranteed podium spot. And now you have Lukasz Tasiemski versus Artem Chulkov. To be honest, I'm not surprised, but they had a very tough lineup going all the way to the Final Four battle from these two drivers. So the resiliency is real with these two drivers.
Yeah, I can't even call this battle. I don't even know what way this one could go. These two guys have been flawless. For me, Chulkov's been way more aggressive again, but I said the aggression would win. And Stella threw the aggression down and it didn't pay off. So I don't know what the key is.
All right. Here we go. This is our final battle for our top four. Going on to see who wins to go to the first and second place battle as Artem Chulkov comes in with a nice initiation going to the first and second outer zone. Beautiful momentum going through the outer zone. 3, 4, and 5. Oh, mercy, as Tasiemski is just keeping that proximity as much as possible throughout each zone. It was a very fast lap.
It was very fast. Those guys, again, another 2 guys that have turned it up to 11. Lovely initiation. Little dab of the foot brake. You see him get on the wall, little foot brake there. But then Tasiemski really opens this one up and starts applying the pressure. And even with the big angle transitions, he deals with it. There isn't no wandering, no wavering. Little wobble there, but then he makes it work on the transition. Look at this. Creeps up onto the door across the line. Lovely stuff in the chase.
Artie did little to no corrections from what I was seeing on that lead run that made him so fast and carried the momentum out through each zone. Let's see how he performs out here in the chase. Lukasz Tasiemski coming out here. Oh my goodness. Mirroring the initiation as Artem Chulkov in the chase. It looked like he possibly was a little bit too far forward in the pocket, but he's able to dive right back into the pocket, rubbing that tire against that door. Here comes a power alley. Artem Chulkov is laying down suppressing fire, diving into the pocket a little bit far forward. He had to back off a little bit towards the end.
Yeah, that was lovely. A couple of mistakes there, though. Almost overtook him and almost made contact on initiation. Oh, we did make contact on initiation. Almost put him into the wall. That's going to be a big no-no from the judges. And Tasiemski dealt with that well. And now Tasiemski, you can see, gets himself in the zone. But Chulkov, again, that aggression. We see it with Stella. We've seen it with Chulkov. You bring that aggression a little too much and you just put yourself out of the battle.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. It was so hard to see. It was very similar to you seeing that Nico Stella and Darius Ostreika battle. They initiated and you lost the chase driver. So going with Artem, he was a little too aggressive, made that contact. We'll see. The judges will look at it to see if the lead driver did slow down a little bit, but it didn't seem like it. But Artem's lead lap was stellar as well, just being smooth and consistent and just fiery throughout the whole track.
Yeah, just wondering what the judges are looking at here, what they're trying to figure out, if there's something they think they missed. It looks all good to me.
Here it is. This is the chase lap of Artem.
Oh.
Yeah, no, I think you hit the nail on the head on that one. He was just being too aggressive on the initiation that just made the contact with the lead driver.
Yeah. Yeah, and if it would have been a little harder, it would have put him in the wall and it would have been a clear-cut deal. And I understand why the judges want to take a look back at the replay. They just want to make sure their decision's 100% right before they pop it on our screens.
Here we go. Winner moves on to the first and second place battle. Loser goes for a possibility of a podium in third. Judges are deliberating a little bit more, and we will see the bracket, the G2A and Metapro bracket of the judges' decision.
Well, judges must be arguing over this one.
Yeah, throwing some elbows in there probably. Oh, man. So from the experience you've had, these battles have been insane. I've seen you at times kind of it's a one more time. Okay, so I'll get a little bullet points from the judges shortly for a one more time battle. I guess they both made equal mistakes that they wanted them to run it back and see who's more consistent.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I'm not sure what we missed there on the lead, maybe, or the chase. I don't know what that was, but for me, the contact was quite big, and I wondered if that was going to be enough to seal the deal. Well,
okay. I got a little explanation. Lukasz made a few mistakes on the first run, and in the second run, there was contact. Both initiations weren't perfect. That was another thing they were looking at.
Right, okay. Well, we'll see him run it back once again. It will be Chulkov to lead out Tasiemski. And Tasiemski knows what he needs to do. He knows the pace, he knows the grip, he knows the speed right now. They fire down, big initiation, nice and early from Chulkov as he gets that car right to the edge of the circuit, right to the wall. Tasiemski goes for that transition, and now it looks like they've turned it up to 11 once again. These guys pushing super hard. They want it, that somebody wants to be on the top step of the podium, and look at that transition, bumper to bumper, wheel to wheel across the line.
Well, we'll see how this comes down to it. Nitty gritty. Chulkov coming in with a nice initiation, a little bit shallower in that first outer zone compared to what we've seen before, but was able to dial it in, getting that close proximity in outer zone 2 on that wall. But here he is. Tasiemski is trying to keep that nice, consistent, fluid chase run, but I wish there was a little bit more proximity from him towards the end.
Yeah, it's a little bit out there. Maybe he left the judges asking the question a little bit like, does he have what it takes? For me, Chulkov really needs to stamp his authority on this one, really prove to the judges that he has what it takes to take him through to the final. One of these guys will be standing on one step of the podium. Who will it be? Look at that initiation, though, right to the edge of the track for Tasiemski. But look at Chulkov. He's in it. He's in the zone. He's in the pocket. He's right on the door as he fires through to this outside zone. He wanders and wavers along the side of that S15 as they now flick it across the circuit down. Look for the outside zone once again as Chulkov glues it to the door.
Yep, there it is. Chulkov coming in here, laying down suppressing fire right off the rip. Artie strike right there on the door all the way through, and awesome. You see the transition, giving him some room and being able to dive back in as if it was just normal everyday life, able to dive in, not force too crazy of a contact, being able to rub that tire against that wall. And when people say if you make contact, drifting is not a contact sport, so that's the big thing.
Yep. And you just contact enough, just touching that door, rubbing it, flexing the door, flexing the bumpers. That's what we like to see. Not when they're pushing each other too hard and it corrects, or the driver has to make a correction. We're taking a look back at the replay once again. And again, the judges being asked the question. This is not a simple decision.
The judges were telling me during the break, they're like, these guys are not making it easy for us. So going through each zone. And it's insane to see how consistent these guys are. There are sometimes where mistakes happen, and that's just normal in any motorsport that you see. Now we have left for Tasiemski, right for Chulkov, who's going on to the battle for first and second place. And Artem Chulkov gets the win. Going to be battling Braden Swan for first and second. And now we're going to see these guys get ready and line up for the third place run. Before that, we're going to be possibly checking out the brackets to see this event, how it been. Just the story of this event has been crazy.
Yeah, it's been insane. The driving, the battles, and everyone has been on form. And here we go. It'll be Swan to take on Chulkov in the final, and Stella to take on Tasiemski for the third step on the podium. Oh man, that final battle is going to be a slugfest.
Yes, and then you have Nico Stella still has the opportunity to stand on that podium, and you weren't wrong on him being in the podium talk. So let's see if the commentator's curse happens and he gets knocked off, or he gets on that podium, man. So what's one thing you notice here?
I think over aggression. I think that's something that's hurting these guys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, over aggression, especially
if they
on the
can
initiation.
They just need to keep consistency, play it safe, and it could be plain sailing. But hey, it's easy to say that from where we're sitting. When you're in the hot seat and you've got that adrenaline running through your veins, sometimes you just want to push 110%.
For sure. And we're gonna have our drivers come out here. We are our final four battles, or final two battles for the podium positions. You have Nico Stella going up against Tasiemski.
Yeah, there we go. No messing around. They get the green light straight away. Stella to chase down Tasiemski, the higher qualifier. Through the gears they come. Tasiemski flicks that S15 right across the track. But look at Stella. He's glued to the door. Can he rein it back that 10%? He shallows off the angle. Tasiemski now positions that car right to the edge of the circuit. Now Stella looks for the pocket once again, looks for the door, looks for the side, tries to drive down the inside, and he does. He puts himself right where he needs to be across the line.
Man, oh man. Nico the Kid Stella coming out here being as aggressive as he has been in the chase, just straight bumper to bumper, and then dives right into the pocket, lets him know, gives him some room. It looks like Tasiemski angled up a little bit going from outer zone 2 to 3, but Nico Stella was able to read that and dive right back in, staying in the fight. Transition is beautiful going into that final outer zone, and Nico Stella just dives right back into the pocket, letting him know he's there.
Yeah, that was nice. A little wobble, though, a little waver here and there from Stella. He needs to clean that up. Can he lay down that nice lead line and hope that Tasiemski makes a mistake in the chase? Swap them around. They get the green light. They are ready to go. Stella to lead out Tasiemski for the third step on the podium. Awaits for one of these guys who will take it through. Big initiation from Stella as he flicks that car to angle, dials it in, and Tasiemski deals with it now. Flicks that car through. Looks for the transition. Looks for the tyre wall. He's going to go very deep. Flirts with danger there. As Stella keeps it on circuit, keeps that car going. They fire back once again to the outside zone across the line.
Oh my goodness. I am not jealous of being a judge. So here we go, going into that initiation. Beautiful initiation from Stella, and even as smooth and consistent as possible. Here's Tasiemski diving right into the pocket, and yeah, flirting with the wall. Oh, Tasiemski looks like he made contact with the first tire wall, and then transitioning through, and huge angle to slow himself down. That's the crucial mistake the judges are probably looking at and seeing who's going to get third place.
Yeah, both very much deserving of the third step on the podium. Both guys drove super well, and you know what, it'd be nice to see Stella take a podium on his birthday. What a way to finish out the weekend for him.
Slide him left for Stella. Slide him right for Tasiemski. And Stella gets a win for third place. Yeah, happy birthday, I guess. And now, our final battle. You got these guys doing drift circle donuts right now. Just, they always do it because they had such a fun time and just shredding up tires. Stella out here, just straight being the kid that everybody wants to be when they're that age, being in a pro level competition here in the virtual wise. Now, this is our final battle. It's going to be an absolute slugfest. Braden Swan, Artem Chulkov. Final battle of round 5 here at Hungary. Braden Swan is going to be in the chase. Artem Chulkov in the lead. We're waiting for the lights, and here we go. Artem Chulkov in that white 180. Braden Swan with the black and pink 180 coming in with a very aggressive initiation going into that first outer zone to second outer zone. But here's Braden Swan trying to spread his wings to get that momentum to stay right into the pocket. Artem Chulkov coming out here, smoke screen engaged going into the final outer zone. And Braden Swan is right there letting him know we're going out here to fight.
Yeah, and it was a fight, that's for sure. They were absolutely throwing it down. Look at the angle from Chulkov as he initiates. Swan deals with it, shallows up, makes it work. Look at the transition, bumper to bumper. Now mirrors the angle, mirrors the proximity. Look at this, gets himself into the zone, shallows up though, wobbles a little bit there as he transitions and looks for that final outside zone on the door across the line.
That chase run, he bobbled, made a correction a little bit. It might be a mistake that the judges look at. We'll see. This is the second lap of a final battle. Winner gets first. Loser moves on to second place. Here are the lights. Braden Swan in the lead. Artem Chulkov in the chase. Coming in with a nice big initiation to that first outer zone. But here comes Artem Chulkov mirroring the angle of Braden Swan. Braden Swan fills out outer zone 2 and 3. Coming into the fourth outer zone. Rubbing that back bumper against the wall. But Artem Chulkov using the left foot brake to keep that proximity all the way through that power alley. Getting super aggressive. Diving in and finishing off this lap.
Oh man, that's a close one. That is a close one. I want to see this from the drone, and here we go from the drone. Swan fires in, looks for the outside zone, looks for the wall. Oh, and it was contact from Chulkov. Almost put Swan into the wall, and they dealt with it well. And now Chulkov gets himself back into the zone, onto the door, as Swan deals with the proximity, deals with the pressure. But look at that shallow transition from Chulkov as he gets himself up onto the inside, doesn't have the proximity across the line.
We have both of these guys in the 180SX, the OM livery, pink and black, and then you have the white livery over there from Artem Chulkov. Man, Braden Swan was able to dial it in. We'll see the chase run here as Braden Swan uses the angle to slow himself down, going to outer zone 2, and then transition is good from Braden and was able to reel him in throughout the whole track, being super consistent. That contact was crucial with Chulkov's chase, but that bobble as well on that final transition, we'll see what the judges look at that. And man, this is a very nitpicky approach here.
Yeah, and it has to be. When the guys are driving this hard, you have to look at every single correction, all the wobbles and wavers from the steering wheel, and and judges will be taking into account of every little move, everything they've done. And they'll be looking at the timing on the transition, where they position the cars. I think for me, Swan looking the stronger driver overall.
Yeah, it's so hard to see this, and fortunately, drifting is a judge motorsport. So no matter what competition you have, they have different criteria. They talk about it at the drivers' meeting, and these guys are guaranteed a spot on the podium. So either way, they're holding their head up high. You got left for Swan, right for Chulkov. And one more time. Oh, my goodness. Oh, mercy. Well, Ian, didn't expect to see that. I didn't expect to see that.
I thought there was enough. I thought there was enough in that. But
man, these guys out here just straight shredding. And this track, the Hungary track, is it looks simple, but it's actually very technical, especially going from the outer zone 4 into the power alley. You got to know how to keep your momentum going.
Yeah, you certainly do. Yeah, it's a very technical track, and like I say, in the real world, we haven't been there since 2018. It's going to be good to go back in 2 weeks' time and visit round 5 of Drift Masters there. Who will win it in real life? Well, we don't know, but who's going to win it in the virtual world? We don't know that either just yet, as we see Chulkov fire in that 180SX. As Swan now looks for the back bumper, he dives through the smoke as Chulkov goes for it, looks for the outside zone, looks for the tyre wall, and he's got real good speed, good pace, and now Swan starts to make mistakes in the chase as they look for their final outside zone. Swan dives on the door across the line.
Swan dives right into the door. Yeah, he does. Going into this drone replay, beautiful initiation from Chulkov. Very consistent with the initiation, using that left foot brake to get themselves right into fill out each zone. And here comes Swan, just spreading his wings out to dive right into that door. And that transition was actually a lot more smoother than what I thought it was. I thought he did the same mistake from the previous battle on the chase, but it was a really nice transition on that final outer zone.
Well, there we go. Run 1 in the bag, run 2 coming up. Swan to lead out Chulkov. They get the green light ready to go through the gears. Chulkov, for me, was looking the stronger contender in the first half of the battle. Can he do it? Can he match the angle, the pace, and the speed of Swan as they fire through? And he looks strong right now as Swan opens his wings and tries to fly away, but he flies too hard, puts his car into the wall, deals with it as Chulkov now looks for the side, and Chulkov must be screaming with excitement as he takes it across the line.
Oh no, was there contact? We'll see in the drone replay. Swan comes in, nice initiation, using that left foot brake to stabilize his car, going into outer zone 2. And then you got outer zone 3. Here's where I think there might have been a surge. No, that's so close to call. I think Swan made contact. Yeah, I think Swan made contact with that wall and then pushed into Chulkov, but man, that is so close.
It was very close. Very close.
when you're coming into like the sim drifting wise, like if this was real world, that the run would have ended on that contact for sure. But luckily,
for sure, yeah.
The contact, I think Swan hit the wall and then Chulkov pushed him back into drift so he could continue on the lap. So
he could keep going, yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, that's a big mistake. And honestly, like I'm happy as heck to see these two battle. I never thought this matchup would be this exciting on paper, but seeing their styles and how they clash, they're two aggressive drivers. So seeing this is absolutely stellar.
Yeah, these two guys have just been on form all day, pushing, and no messing around and not too aggressive. Well, here we go. Decisions in. Who will win round 5 of the Virtual Drift Masters Championship? Oh, Chulkov gets the win.
Yeah, great job, Artem Chulkov. Artem Chulkov is in first place this round. Braden Swan is second. And man, Stella gets third place, getting his birthday wish. Pretty much, he put. It's not even like we gifted him. He drove phenomenal today. And this whole bracket here, the G2A bracket, Ian, how you feel about today, man?
Man, it was good. It's been good to get back and see the Virtual Drift Masters Championship, see you guys working super hard and see the guys driving, see how they've improved, see the door-on-door action. And you know what, for me, it's been really good is that you guys have been following the real-life championship virtually the whole way through, doing every round, doing all the tracks. It's incredible.
Yeah, and we have Chulkov getting 100 points, Braden Swan getting 80, Nico Stella getting 64. We were talking about Jaku earlier, that he was in the lead. We're going to see the point standings for the season. And the winner is the final round. The final round is next coming out. Jaku has a commanding lead, 311 points. Daniel Andreev has 278, and Ostreika is at 243. To be honest, for the amount of effort these guys have, the top 5, the top 5 are up for grabs, I would say, depending on how the brackets are set up.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And the next round for Virtual Drift Masters is the September 1st, where we will be out in Poland. But Ian, tell us about Hungary. I know it's about to happen in a week or so. You excited? This got you prepped? Let us know, man.
I mean, look, this has got me prepped. I'm ready for Hungary. It's been a while since we've been there. They've made a lot of changes to the track. There's a lot of guys that have never driven there before. So this is going to be a bit of a game changer for the championship. I know Laurie Heinen's never been there before. So it could all be to play for. We know that James Dean's coming back to compete at this round. He's now leading the championship. So he's only 4 points clear of third place. It's all to play for. But for me, it's all about the big one. The PGE Narodowy in Poland, the final, 56,000 people. Like I said, if you haven't got your tickets, get your tickets. Only 25,000 left. It's a show. The atmosphere is electric. Last year, I stood in the middle of that circuit and watched the place just erupt. You have to be there. This year has been incredible. And Hungary next. I'm excited for it. This has got me ready.
No, man, I'm so happy to hear the enthusiasm in it. And man, it's been an absolute pleasure and awesome experience to have you side by side. Us talking about cars, even the competition here, letting the people know that drifting is a big community, if it's sim or in real life.
Certainly so. And thanks for having me. Thanks for having me back at the Virtual Drift Masters Championship. It's been incredible. You know, the last time I was here was COVID, where we couldn't go drifting and we had to do it all online. So it's good to come back and see you guys. It's been an honor. It's been brilliant to work with you, Jonathan, and all the guys behind the scenes. look, maybe I'll come to America or you come to Europe, and we'll do this in real life sometime, man.
That would be sick. It would be awesome. Hey, if you're ever in Florida, let me know. We'll go to Disney. We'll do whatever. We'll go to drift events and stuff like that. It'll be fun.
For sure.
Yeah, that was insane. I'm happy you're here, Ian. And the whole competition today, this was probably the craziest round that we had on this whole season.
Insane. Yeah, I mean, look, these guys are not messing around. Look, Jonathan, it's been a pleasure, man.
Yeah, it's an absolute pleasure, guys. Guys in the chat, I thank you guys for hanging out and chilling with the one and only Ian. And I'm Jonathan Tiny Warbe, the virtual Drift Masters commentary. You got Ian over here, the actual Drift Masters commentary. We'll see you in September.